What up, everybody? Back at you. Hey, wanted to talk more ball. Gabe was too tired. I thought we was in some deep, good discussions as far as talking about the Raiders and what we expect to do it. And it was scheduled. I just hit buttons and stuff. I haven't did a live in a long time, so I did everything all fast. Didn't really have a time on it. But if you stroll by your lives and see who's live right now, hit that. Later on, I sent the link to a couple of my guys to see what's going on. Um, it's all good with me. If you guys want to talk something, if you guys want me to answer some questions, and we'll get at it. I'll debate you. I'll see what's going on. Some people that I gave the link to got a lot of input. I want to see how one guy is doing, and then hopefully Chris got my message. He gets his stuff together, and as soon as he gets home, I know it's late over there, but if he has some spare minutes, we'll get Protect the Shield on. He can come on with us and give his viewpoints. Me and him agree on some things, but we disagree on some others. So, I seen that turf was active. So turf, if you see the show, you want to get on, let me know, man. I'll send it right to you. But what's up, D Man? It's always solid, bro. Always solid to my boy D Minutes. Anthony Estrada, what's going on, man? How are you doing? And that's all we got. Used to this really good late night talk on what the hell we got problems for you people that can't sleep, and then got got your day going. But I hope everybody had a wonderful day. I hope everybody had a good weekend, a safe weekend, and stay out the heat. If you're from the Central Valley, you guys know what we're talking about. It's over here. It's like a dry heat. It's really dry, and you go outside, and I can imagine what uncomfortableism is. So I don't, I can't see be sweaty and it was hot. I couldn't stand that shit. But thankfully, I got money to hit my PG&E bill because I was severely pissed off at our PG&E. California got probably the worst company running our energy around here. Where we're paying for fires they started, and it's drastic. They said that 20%, 15% um, raise up and a bill, and we're paying for their lawsuit that they had to pay a whole town that they destroyed with their lines. We have to pay for. So that's just me on my evening gripe, my evening pissed offness. I've been pissed off about that for 2 days now. I've been an asshole to people, but you got to do what you got to do. I guess so. Now back to what this live is about is I'm doing good. I'm doing good, D Menace, man. Much love for you, bro. Much love for you, bro. Blessings back to you. You too, Eric Estrada. The, the, the man himself. We had a great live with me and Gabe had a special guest, Michael Guerrero, with his input. I understand what he means. I ain't debateless yet, but I might be right now if you want me to. Somebody just has to say the right question, or give me an answer on why. If you know me on my shows that I do by myself, is that I really get into the football aspect, or I want to get into the football aspect of it. So let people know on IG, Gravy's on. And we could talk football all day. We could, about an hour if you want. It might be a quick one. But I ain't worried about who's on. I don't really give a shit. But if I'm just talking to myself, then I'll get on. But if you guys like the ism that's going on around here, then we got good Raiderism. So you guys can ask for the chat, ask me some questions, let's see what my opinion is on certain things that we've been talking about as far as we collectively on Raider Nation Live. But this is Coach Gravy Show. And what I want to instill that, hey, if you never seen me before, you probably, I know you guys seen me on Raider Nation Live, but I have my individual show. This is a Stogie with Coach Gravy Show. Got my Devontae background made by Lowe himself. Man, he does a great job with that. Yeah, but whatever you guys want to do, man. James Furpo, man, thanks for coming up. Cool Kev, man, always, bro. What's up? All lies, man. It's Fresno guys, man. They did the heat and respond to Raiderism right off the bat. Give it up. I want to give it up to my boy, All Eyes on G. Man, boy, one of my partners in Fresno, he did me a good graphic. It's gonna be all over the place. I'll send it to All Eyes on G personally. Something, you know, he what my plans are for that, but he did a wonderful job, man. So get at All Eyes for if you're a creator or just want something designed, he'll do it for you, man. He does a great job. So look him up on IG. It's All Eyes on G. He's everywhere. He's cool with everybody. Get on everybody's show. Props to All Eyes, man. So what you guys want to talk about, man? Let me know what's up. I give you my opinions on some questions that I had. I've written them down on my little gidget right here, and I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. And what we have, what I was gonna ask Gabe, but you know, Mikey came on and he did his great aspect, his great views of it. The Raiders were named the biggest losers of 2024 offseason. Now, I'm not reading this to get people upset, or why is Gravy always talking about we took last in this? The stuff is there for you to read. So if you guys have a different view, you guys explain to me why the Raiders were off season. We didn't do much. You know, we got the tackle. We got the defensive tackle. We got Wilkins. That was a great pickup. Great pickup right off the bat. That's very rare that the Raiders. The first day of free agency, we had this guy locked up already. So we talked to him before, and he already agreed to the contract. He get paid a lot of money, so he needs to produce. And my whole thing is production. Can Wilkins get the same production he did in Miami? Now they got real good defensive front in Miami to where he can be expendable. And what else did we get? We got the quarterback, Minshew, who I think should get the starting nine. Now, if we think that Gardner Minshew isn't better than AOC, then explain to me why. What did you see in 9 games that we could win right now? Right now, win games and feel comfortable with it with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. I've said this. I've said it on the Raider Nation Live show. But tell me why, the reasons, and you know, the stats are going to show that, yes, he had 9 touchdowns and one pick. Okay, took care of the ball. That doesn't mean he's accurate. You know, I remember DA making some great catches. I remember Myers making some great catches I remember I've seen a lot of overshooting Trey. I've seen a lot of overshooting, undershooting. Um, the receivers that we have, you know, both of them, you know. But if it wasn't for Myers having a great chemistry with, I think the chemistry with Jacoby Myers was better than DA's was. Now, why did that happen? Is he checking off to Myers, or is he but just focus? Because there was games where we were coming out on live saying that we were saying that he's targeting DA too much. Well, that's what you do when you have a player like DA. You target him. DA's getting pissed off because he ain't getting targeted enough. That's what the dude that makes that much money. He's making that much money for a reason, to get the ball. And so, were those 9 touchdowns? How many of them did DA have? Somebody got them, but did we win games with those, or is it just the Chargers game? And then we're how many touchdown passes did he have in the Chargers game? 4, 3, or something like that. So those other 5 were spread out in 4 games. I had to let the one touchdown a game. If I'm getting my stats right, I ain't gonna look at it, but I would like to know how many touchdowns he had, and I ain't prepared. I should be, but I didn't think I was gonna do it live today, right now. So if I want to talk about this, I should be better prepared. But I've said it over and over and over again. You see, Michael, how do we know that Minshew already hit his ceiling? As far as I'm concerned, Minshew hasn't had a chance, bro. He hasn't had a chance to do what he does. He started a season where they got the number 1 pick and they had to play him with Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence is playing so bad now is that people have the faith in Trevor Lawrence like we do with AOC. But I think Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than AOC. Wouldn't everybody agree? Now, what I want to do is, I want to break this down into our quarterback situation, which is the most crucial part of our team right here. Because when you look at AOC, and we're hearing all kinds of rumors or clickbait saying that he has the nod, he's doing this, which I don't believe because no one has seen him. Unless you got somebody that's in-house at the Raider practices. It's great that AP don't let no one in watch his team. It's great that the media has to guess on who's doing what. There's only certain guys. There's only a couple of people that could go in there and watch these quarterbacks get to work. But Minshew and Aiden are competing right now. It starts right now. Today. They're probably going through meetings, but then physical work is going to be there tomorrow. And then Wednesday, when the veterans show up, he got it. Receivers. I bet you all the starters are there right now. Just they're there. They got to show up, but they're there. Hitting the weights. Teach these youngsters what's up. But the thing is with AOC is that if we're depending on this guy to do so much outlandish stuff that he's not good at, and we're so, I don't want to let a guy develop and lose games with that. If Minshew goes in there and loses games, boom, I'll agree with you guys. Put AOC in, but the thing is that if we're gonna not let Minshew have his full shot, the same that we give Aiden, then it's biased. It's a biased competition right off the bat because there's way more people that want AOC to start than they want Minshew to play. I see that. Navy Vet, man, I hope you're doing good too, man. I hope you're doing great. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for watching me, man. I appreciate it. So if we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of it, why not Minshew have the same opportunity, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to have the same opportunity. But us as fans should let. I would feel more comfortable with dude with more experience because they're both learning the offense. That ain't like one knows one better, and we can say, we're pumping up Mitchell because he takes command of the huddle and all this, and then we doubt him when he couldn't throw a ball in the net. Has nothing to do with accuracy. It's just different. You guys, if you know drills in football, then you would know why they were doing that. They were doing it for they were checking out rotation of the arm or something. They were doing it, just because he don't make it in a box and a net doesn't mean he's not an accurate thrower. That's a stopped target. All your targets, from what I know, should be moving, unless the play's designed that way. And then that's just a little aspect on football. If you're gonna go by that, then you're not gonna give Minshew a chance, bro. We're gonna just keep saying that Minshew, we have the best backup in football, which probably we don't. We have the best guy that has an opportunity to be a starter on the bench. Now, to me, that's a bad decision. But I know you guys you want to hear it. Anthony Estrada, man, thanks for coming on. That's why we shouldn't get Ayuk, because who is the quarterback there gonna have to switch off, and Duke gonna get pissed off. Ayuk is already pissed off, and it's about money. So you can look at it two ways, Anthony. You can look at it, hey, the guy thinks he deserves money, and then we're in a Jacobs situation. Dude's been to the Super Bowl. Dude made catches in the Super Bowl. Got playoff experience. DA has that. Would you? I said, if this thing with Ayuk, if this stuff with Ayuk is true, what would you give? I asked my boy Omar. He said, nah, he's a 1 year wonder, but everybody's a 1 year wonder. We think AOC is a 1 year wonder. We think Trey Tucker's a solid slot receiver, and all I seen him was barely hanging on the balls on the sideline and getting overthrown or underthrown. But I like his speed. That's potential. But Trey Tucker, I give him the leeway for being a low pick. He is fast, and that matters in football. I'm giving you an opinion on coaching these guys. And then coaches don't vary. They're not gonna have a slowpoke play wide receiver if the fast guy can't run routes. Get the guy in there that runs the routes the right way. If he's slower than Trey Tucker, then so be it. You put your best players out there. And that's why me and Gabe were doing a Tyree comparison, and it didn't really plan out that well because we expect Trey or Tyree to be this type guy, and he's not going to be that good. In my eyes, oh yeah, he looked good in the picture. Zeus looked good in the picture. So it's up to you guys, whatever you guys want to think. Those are the two main things that I'm looking at. Is the quarterback situation, which you have to have in check to ball out. To have a solid team. Unless you're like the 49ers with just talent anywhere. They're not going to trip. They're not going to trip because they lose Ayuk. They got guys in the back burner just chilling. Their number one pick was a wide receiver. So that probably pissed off Ayuk even more. But for what he wants and what he thinks he should have, I don't see him coming to the Raiders. We trade, we still have to sign him for a contract he wants. So I think the 49ers would probably franchise him. If that's what I think that'll be the best move. You keep a guy like that. You don't just let him walk out. You keep a guy like that. And then he's not a big time thing on your cap, and he produces. But so, Jacoby Myers produces for us. All eyes on G. Do we have confidence that we got a coach in the building to develop Aiden fast enough? Well, that's our quarterback. Our quarterback, I think he came from San Francisco, or he's a passing game coordinator or something like that. But Getsy's a quarterback guy. We really don't. I really don't think that Getsy is going to change what he believes in. That's hard to do. You change what you believe we're religiously focused on, and then you got a quarterback like Aiden O'Connell that's very accurate. He can't blast the ball down the field, but he's got an arm. All those quarterbacks have arms, but I think if we're gonna sit here and say that Aiden's gonna be the top dog or lead the league in passing and stuff, that's what you have to have. But we're talking about what we're gonna be at. The records that I'm hearing from other shows is 11 and something. That guy needs to produce. That guy needs to produce. One of my for sure's, man, I know he's up late during the day over there where he's from. Wonderful guy, man, always there. I know he loves the Raiders a lot. Real good game on what we talk about. Always have respect for him. From down under, AR, man. What's up, bro? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a little bit. What's going on?
It's been a while. Gravy, how you been, brother? Everybody in the chat, see the names. MG, Mr. Tookie Soul, D Menace, Navy Vet, Anthony. So just some of the names, but good evening to everyone. And what is it? Like 11 p.m.?
It's gonna be 11. It's gonna be 11.
Subby Chile. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people telling you what's up, man. Well, we had a show earlier. Me, Gabe, had a Red Nation live show. Had Mike G on. That's Mike G keeps giving me a bunch of shit about Tyree. but I was talking about this.
I love MG.
I was talking about these quarterbacks, and my problem with it is that our expectations of AOC are really, really high, more than what I expect him to do. Because I'm keeping it logical here. You know what I mean? If we want to make the playoffs, we're gonna have to get a better quarterbacks. And I don't want no time manager. And if you want to be a time management type guy, that's immobile. That's always showed that he's immobile and will get the ball there accurately, but it'll be easier for Getsy to have that offense being checked with somebody quicker with the same accuracy, and I think that's Minshew. What is your take on the quarterback situation that we have? In a nutshell. I want to hear your review.
All right. In a nutshell, there hasn't been enough sample size to really know what Aiden O'Connell is. I mean, he's only had one season as a rookie. So I'm going to continue to give him a chance to prove himself at the NFL level. I mean, we know some of his strengths, we know some of his weaknesses, but of course he's still young. These are things he can work on and can get better. Is Gardner Minshew a better option right now? I don't know. I haven't seen much of him play, but from what I have seen, I like his heart. I like his grit. He gives me shades of Bruce Gradkowski. I've made that analogy a few times, and I can appreciate that. My thing is this: I'm not 100% sold on either of these two cats being our guy for the future. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they're going to get their chance. Look, one step at a time. I think it's going to come down to preseason who's going to get the job. I don't think it's going to be like someone's got the job right now and it's going to be a lock no matter what happens preseason. I mean, whoever's the winner out of preseason is going to get that starting job. And whoever it is, whether it's Minshew, whether it's Aiden O'Connell, I just want them to prove to be a good starter, not just for a short time, but to give us hope that they're the guy for the foreseeable future, not just for a Band-Aid kind of deal. But we'll see.
I mean, our coach said, I don't want bad. So when he said that, I thought Minshew was a starter because we were talking about let the guy develop. And so Minshew is my guy. That's why I picked the record that we had without AOC starting because I have two separate records there. I have a 11 and I was winning 11 games with Minshew and 9 games with Aiden because I think he's going to lose some games for being inept with what he's doing and not be able to move around the pocket a little bit. But his pocket presence is better than Minshew's, but that's not mobility. That's not his presence. His clock in his head is better. You can tell that as games went on. And he'll get that. That's easy to teach. That's easy to come to you. Minshew will probably already has it, but Minshew takes a lot of risk. And Lowe mentions it a lot. I'd rather you take that risk than get sacked 7 times. You know, that was his first game. Okay, whatever. You know, that's fine. But it should never happen again. And we were there watching games where he held the ball too long. So that's a problem.
Right. But again, you know, like for the most part, I'm with you. I'm not sold on AOC, but at the same time, I'm going to try and give him a reasonable chance. I mean, you know, can take in consideration like a 4th round guy, he was supposed to sit. He was not supposed to start. By circumstances, he did start, and at times I thought he did well enough. There was times when I thought he struggled too. But again, like you know, he just had 1 season as a rookie. A guy was again, like I said, not supposed to start. So I'm going to give him, you know, more concessions to show what he can do. I'm not going to fully throw him under the bus and say he ain't this and he ain't that. I'm going to give him a chance. Like it's like I keep saying, like with players, young players, I give you concessions as long as you're trending upwards. You know, granted, it's the quarterback position, and ideally, if you're going to be starting, like we can't give you too much time because we need some production to make the wheels turn, so to say. But like young guy, he's only had 1 season. You give him a time, give him a chance. But am I sold on him as it stands? Absolutely not. But
well, it would be the wisest thing, AR, to let him sit, and then when Minshew is playing well and takes his team, what if Minshew takes his team and we're doing great, we have a good record, and then he throws a pick, and then we're yelling out Aiden or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just because Minshew never really had a shot either. You know, he's waiting for that.
Pro Bowl last year?
He made the Pro Bowl last year.
Doesn't that count for something?
It should. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know, but Aiden did play better, but that's a very important AR as far as football is concerned, that you have a guy there that's good. That's super, super, super good. These guys that are winning, these guys that are going to the Super Bowl, winning Super Bowls, have great quarterbacks. And we don't have a great quarterback yet. Not even with Minshew. I'll give you that. But if we don't feel confident in that type thing, the next best thing to that to help him out is a running game. And I don't think we have that either. So that's the 2 top 1A, 1B concerns that I have with that. And then we can go to the corner situation.
I'm with you.
You know,
I'm with you.
I don't think. I think Zeus is going to have a good season. You know, he's a 1,000-yard rusher maybe, but he ain't Pro Bowl type guy. Take a game over. He hasn't shown me that yet. And yes, he played in Kansas City, and he rushed for 148 yards, 22 carries. That's great. If he does that, that's the guy I want. I'll get off of him. But we had a guy that did that on a continual basis, and we lost him. And I don't want to bring up my sad story with my infatuation with Josh Jacobs, but you know, maybe he didn't want to be here. You know, we deviated. I don't think Jacobs wanted to be with the Raiders because we messed with his money for too long, man.
No, I agree with pretty much all your takes.
Yeah.
Like I think our running back room is a question mark. I'm not sold on yet, but I'm going to give them a chance. Our quarterback room we've just talked about. Like
Yeah.
I share your same sentiment. So you're not going to get much objectivity from me, like except for like, look, with the quarterback room, just let's see how it shakes out. And I guess
Mhm.
the same can be said about the running back room. Like I'm right there with you. Like I mean, geez, like name one bigger critique of Zamir White than I was the last two
Yeah.
seasons. You know what I mean?
You're
I
right.
was on his butt since like his rookie year, where I just wasn't impressed, and I hadn't been up until the last quarter of last season, where he started to put it together and he started to produce. And I'm more than happy to say, yeah, he proved that he can play. My question mark is that now he's going to be the guy as it stands until proven otherwise. Can he do that more sustainably? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about for a small stretch of time where, he came in at the end of the season, he proved he can play. Fantastic. But I want to see him now that he's given the chance. Like, he's here you go.
Yeah.
You're the lead back. Show the way. You know what I mean? So is he going to be that guy?
If he
Hopefully
takes that
so.
role, and runs with it, I'm down for it.
Cool. Yeah, me too. Like I said,
Mhm.
like I'm not one of these cats who hopes for the downfall of players just so I can come on a live and just say, "Oh, see, I told you so."
Yeah,
Why? Why?
I'm not.
Why? You know what I mean? I don't want to be right about anything that's detrimental to my Raiders. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I want him to succeed, and if he's rushing well, that means we're playing well, and if we're playing well, that means we're winning, right? So
Mhm.
I hope he's the guy. If he's not, look, we've got these other young cats. Like let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to be paying attention to the running back room and see who can emerge, so to say. There's quite a few cats there that have a lot to prove. Britton Brown, the next coming of Bo Jackson, your favorite running back, yours
That's
truly,
just,
Sincere
yeah.
McCormick.
He could be on as many shows as he wants to, dude. He ain't sold nothing to me.
Right. But like in all serious, like look, this is his third season. Prove something at preseason at least. Otherwise, you got to get up out of here. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There's quite a few cats like that. As much as I like Britton Brown, he's in that same category. You've had 3 seasons. Show us something in preseason. Otherwise, you got to get up out of here too. Alex Madison, another guy. Dylan Lorby, the rookie. Like, let's see how it all shakes out.
I'm not high on him either. He's a rookie, and then he has good tape against inferior competition. You put Luby in Georgia or go against those guys, the
Yeah.
type players of Georgia, Alabama.
No, I hear you. He's come from a smaller school against smaller competition, but
You know what I mean?
look, I like his attitude. I like his style,
Yeah.
and let's see what he can do. I mean, he can also contribute on special teams, so maybe he can make his bones there. But I don't see him being the starter. Like, just prove that you can do some things when your number is called as that spell back. That pass catching threat out of the backfield. You don't have to catch this many balls and this many yards, but like just do some things when your number is called. All I
And
ask from that problem.
and then preseason, and then when the cuts come up, there's gonna be a lot of good players out there. We just proved we did our 53-man roster today. I don't know if you watched the show, but we did our 53-man roster, and Sincere McCormick was not on there. And the reason why neither was Britton Brown. I don't know. If you haven't shown me anything, if you showed me something in 9 games that Aiden O'Connell played, and you haven't done anything amongst 2 backs, 0 rushes, 0 yards, 0 anything, it's time to go, bro. What are we saving you for? You're gonna pop you're gonna pop out like a missile and take the game over. You just might if you get an opportunity. But 2 years,
They've both had 2 seasons, and this is not just those 2. There's other cats that are there. You've had 2 seasons to show something. You're still on our roster by hook or crook in 3 years, and you've done nada. And if you can't prove anything by preseason end, then like I said, you got to get up out of here. I'm looking at cats like Matthew Butler is another cat. I'm looking at cats like granted he was an undrafted free agent, but Darian Butler, another guy who's much like Sincere McCormick, getting all this hype for what? What have they done?
I got him pretty high in the linebacker room.
Show something in preseason. Otherwise, like I said, get up out of here. We got other young cats that we can develop or give them a chance to show their wares. Surely they could do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got. Well, Matthew Butler is third string for me, so I think Matthew Butler will make the team unless they find somebody else. And I had us. Or am I mistaken with Adam Butler? I think Adam.
Yeah, I was going to say Matthew Butler.
Adam Butler.
Adam Butler. Now he's the Butler I like. I like him.
A lot of things. Matthew Butler wasn't on the squad. He was in.
So my point: a fifth-round draft pick who's done what in 2 years?
Nothing. He hasn't done anything. But
nada.
But fifth-round pick, he should be doing something by now. By now, he should be doing something. And if a 34-year-old defensive tackle is outshining all these young guys that we have behind him, that's a problem in your defensive line.
Yeah. John Jenkins and Adam Butler, they both outplayed all these younger cats that we drafted. Mm-hmm. How many we wasted 5 draft picks on interior in the last 2.5 seasons or 3 seasons, and which of them have managed to be even a decent rotational guy? You know what I mean? And yet you got John Jenkins and Adam Butler, who came in, who nobody was talking about before the season started, outplayed all those young cats and deserved their new contracts. So, yeah.
Rafa, Luke Getsy doesn't have 2 tight ends in his offensive scheme before, but I like this. Could be a great thing for using both on the defense. The 12 personnel's been in there for. It's in the West Coast offense, Rafa. You gotta look a little bit deeper, and then you'll see that 12 personnel came. That's the reason why people run it. That's why people are running these. People have these tight ends that are big receivers. Now is because of the West Coast offense, because they use their tight end so much.
Hey, Gravy, since Rafa just pulled up, and salute to you, Rafa. It's all love. Do you remember the last time we shared the panel? We were asking Rafa name.
Don't look at your computer. Don't look at your computer.
Name more than 2 death row artists.
Yeah. Did we ask him who was all of the? I gotta let Rafa out, man.
I love you, Rafa. That was funny.
We said to name all the singers, name all the artists in NWA.
Name 2 death row artists. That was the question. Because he's wearing a death row t-shirt.
Yeah, so you even know what's going on there.
We asked him a question, and then he went on and talked about Robert Spillane.
Yeah.
Oh, Rafa, I love you, man. You're funny.
I said it to you, Rafa. If you promise me you won't come up, you motivated me on a good speech you had, bro. You were yelling and I wanted to go play some ball, man. After that, the other day I was watching Rafa, and he's doing good. He's getting better. He's getting better. Opinions vary differently. You take them from different people. You don't have your own. That's me. AR, we've been on a lot of panels together. I'm my own guy. I say my own things, and by me saying that I don't like this about this, I get called by Mike Guerrero, your Gravy Bayless, and I don't like the Raiders, and I'm not a real fan or whatever. No one's ever told me I'm not a Raider fan, but they've disagreed with me. They disagree with me because I know our fan base is real. We take this team to the heart, and so do I. But I've been around along all this losing, man, and I don't like it. And I'm tired of waiting for players to develop and another year, this and that. And it's the instability of the coaching and it's the instability of the people we brought in as far as the leadership roles. But we have it now.
Right.
So we got to just and just like with the Tyree thing and the AOC thing, show me why. Prove to me prove me that it was wrong to say what I said about you. Then I'll talk good about you.
I've
I
been a
will
heavy
say,
critic of Tyree Wilson too.
yeah,
I've
I
been
would, I
a
would
heavy
say you got to criticize the guy. You got to you got to criticize the pick,
right.
and then and then having an excuse by just saying, oh, we just gonna push him inside. He wasn't drafted to be that. He was drafted to be a defensive end, and that guy's a
Well,
monster.
at least he was again, like much like I said about Zamir, I'll say about Tyree. Like I was a heavy critique of Tyree Wilson last season, and I still am to a point. But I'm going to give him a chance to build up on. Like, granted, we drafted him. Granted, he was injured or whatever it may be. When we did throw him into the interior, he did play better, and I'm hoping he can build up on that because I mean he's not starting on the end. He's not starting over Crosby. He's not starting over over Malcolm Kuntz, and we already got Christian Wilkins as our bonafide. So there's 3 bona fide starters there on the defensive line who are good/very good elite players. There's no excuse for Tyree Wilson to not at least do his part. Like, I've said it a few times. Like, I'm not asking him to be an all-pro Pro Bowler, get this many sacks, do this, that, whatever. But there's not going to be no better opportunity to at least do his part and be ideally, like, we drafted him at number 7. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be at least a good, decent starter. You know what I mean? Like, not a starter by default or a rotational guy. That's not good enough picking in the top 10. Much like with Cleve Farrell. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what anybody says about Cleve Farrell. You know what I'm saying? We picked him at number 4. What was he? A rotational guy at best that was decent against the run? That's not good enough. And he still is a rotational guy at best. And that's not what I want from Tyree Wilson. I don't want him to be a rotational guy. I want him to be a decent/good player. You know what I'm saying? And this is the second year, show some progression, and hopefully he can be that. But there's going to be no excuses. I mean, look, he's coming in healthy. He's been putting in the work. He's playing with what? Like I said, Crosby, Kuntz, and Wilkins. I mean, tell me 3 better players to play alongside to be able to not do your part, right?
Exactly. So, obviously, we've seen pictures of the dude, and he looks like a monster. That's why I think he was picked on potential. And
cool.
Now,
he looks like a monster, but like, remember Vernon Goldman back in the day? Looked like Tarzan, played like Jane.
Yeah. Who comes up to mind too is Robert Gallery. Robert Gallery comes up to mind as far as the Raiders are concerned. Supposed to be one of the best tackles, 10-year tackle. He ends up on another team to play guard, decent guard in the NFL. But
on the positive, at least it shows that he has been putting in the work, much like Zamir White. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, on the flip side of that, it's got to translate to the field. So,
yeah, and that's Tyree's problem.
Right?
Is that a couple of people see him bull rushing a guy as defensive tackle on good offensive lines, like say like you were playing Philly or something like that, or the Niners or Baltimore or something like that, and he's gonna have that chance. That get off that you have, that get off that you had as a defensive tackle, you have to do the same thing even better as a defensive end. Bro. You know what I mean? Faster. You got to have the first step on that tackle. And you're playing guys that are 6'8", 3 something. You were playing against guards that ain't as athletic as you are. I don't think anybody's going to be as athletic as Tyree. I'll tell you that for sure. I call him the Anunnaki because he's
the what?
He's Anunnaki.
Okay.
You know about the Anunnakis before the Earth?
Sounds Egyptian, right?
Yeah. It's a different show. It's a different show. It's not a football show, but it's just a dudes that were gods, and they were big. They were 15 feet tall, and humongous guys, but they were gods. Okay. But he's like that. He's that type guy. You look at him, you say, man, this guy's going to be a badass with defensive end. But he can't beat out Kuntz. Kuntz just needs his shot. You think Kuntz is going to let this shot go?
No.
To somebody that's better? Kuntz looking at him, shit, bro. I got 10 sacks. What you got? 3. Got 3 sacks.
Does he?
I don't know.
I think it's like 1.5.
I made a bet with Gabe that Gabe said he's going to get 9.5 or 6.5 or something. I said no.
What, this year or last year?
This year. Say he's going to get 6.5. I go as a defensive tackle or a defensive end. Then I go, hey, that's up to him, whatever he wants to do. But I said Rob for the link. We'll see what type of education he wants to show us today. Ralph, you got it. If you want to be on my show, you can get it. You're not banned from any of our shows, bro. You're always good. Did you catch that receiver? Did you catch that receiver series there, AR? You get it over there on Netflix?
Sorry, give me a minute.
Okay. What I thought about that show, I'll give you in a nutshell, Anthony. I thought it was a great show. DA's input on that show was good. I'm interested in the two guys there was St. Brown and DA. That's basically why I watched it. I forwarded it when they talked about anybody else. When I seen DA on, I watched DA part of it. And then when the Sun God came on, because I really, really like Amon-Ra St. Brown. So that's the reason why I watched that. Them two.
To answer your question, I only saw snippets of it. Sorry, Greg, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, that's all right. You got things to do, man. Just let me know. For the snippets you've seen, what did you think about what he said about the quarterback? It wasn't a lot, but people are saying that he's been on a lot of shows pumping up this show. So he's been on Shay Shay. He's been on Max's show. And he's been on this. He was pumping up this receiver show. That's why he was all up in the media, which DA really doesn't do. You know what I mean? So, if what'd you think about that? That ain't there he is. AR's second-hand man with all the info. My boy.
Yo,
What's going on, Rafa?
I'm doing good at all.
You got your shit together over there? You got your stuff together over there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
So go ahead, AR. Tell me what you were gonna say, bro, about the show.
Okay, what were we talking about? What did I think of the little snippets of what I saw from the receiver series? To be honest, it's not. I mean, outside of him, pretty much telling the coaching staff, like, you need to bench Jimmy Garoppolo. Most of it's not really stuff. Like, if you follow the crumbs and you watched him play, you look at the body language, you see how animated he was getting on the bench, and like, how many times he was catching balls that was him being put in dangerous spots where he was going to take a big hit. Sure enough, he would take a big hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could see he wasn't happy. So is it really telling us anything that we didn't know? For the most part, not really.
I think on Shay Shay he did. I think he came out more of his feelings on the Shay Shay. Mm-hmm. You've seen that one. That Shannon Sharp show.
Oh, okay, right.
I think he really got.
Right.
But Shannon was asking something. Shannon Sharp knows what it's about to be elite, because Shannon Sharp at one time was one of the best tight ends in football. So if you tell me that he didn't ask the right questions, I think he did. He got really out of his feelings. But DA is not going to say that I don't like AOC on right now. He's not going to say that.
No
matter who he likes. But it was shot last year. That's why it shows him pissed off at Garoppolo for overthrowing him, and he's getting killed out here. That was what Garoppolo did. He was known for that already. Right. His boy is even known for that. His best friend is known for that. The one playing in the Saints. So they got a line like that. I seen it from Fresno State, bro. He used to get Devontae killed out here. But Devontae wasn't the receiver that he was now. Back then, obviously, he's in pro.
Right.
So what up, Rafa? What you got for
Yeah.
me, bro? Your name? What? Your name Ralph now? What's that?
Yeah, of course my name is Ralph, but it still's Capitan Rafucho, but it still's
Well,
well,
what if I call
trademark.
you Rafa? What about your old
Yes.
school name, Rafa?
Yeah. You can call me Ralph, Rafa, but Captain Rafucho is still it's trademark, but yes.
Living La Vida Rafa, right?
Yeah, I know. Yes, I know
You
you.
know,
You
on
seen
my
that?
show,
His dance moves, Brady?
on my show, you're
Yeah.
Rafa, because that's what
Okay.
I got introduced to you as Rafa.
So, Gravy, I just saw for like a film study about for Chris Smith, but I think for the safety position that I just got between, I was doing a show with Protect the Shield talking
Mhm.
about for like the safety position, which is like it can really get lost to the safety of the show for the safety because once you get drafted along with Trey Taylor, which is a safety for the Air Force, I mean,
Mhm.
there could be like a high level football IQ, but it doesn't realize the requisite of what for IQ measurables. But for example, Chris Smith has to wait a longer to be number to be like at the call of the draft day, whether it comes to the, like 2023. But he has something that no one see that coming, which is the killer instinct that couldn't get it smashed on the field for much of the rookie season. I mean, between for like the starter positions like Marcus Epps, the veteran, also there is Trayvon Marwick. I mean, they only had to go for like the meaningful snaps. I mean, they just saw like at a field on the defense. I mean, if you look at it, see when he was drafted by the Georgia Bulldogs, and of course for the game along with Clemson, I mean, they has like a very high level football instance, just like at a etc. I mean, they have it cracking it down for the safety rotation, and it's gonna be like an earning for the spot for the 50-man roster. They're gonna be like an uphill claim. So that could be like a force of nature to forcing each other for the safety position. I mean, he came for the league with the grading skills with the defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. But I would love to see how it's gonna evolve. It's gonna be impact for the season for Chris Smith, which is like a safety along with Trey Taylor. I mean, that man is a freak nature. That man has
Who?
a really force of safety.
Who's a freak of nature?
Freak athlete, which is Chris Smith, a safety.
Chris Smith was,
Yeah, Chris Smith second.
but
Chris
what
Smith's
was
the freak athlete.
you're bringing this? You're bringing this up. But what's wrong with our safety position right now?
No, I don't just have a little of information. How can you improve about for
Oh,
this?
you were watching some tape on Chris Smith.
Yes, I was watching on the film study. The tape.
Well, you basically you got a lot from college, but that was
Mhm.
a year ago, and then
Yeah, that was like a year ago.
and
But after we just saw for like 1 year ago, I mean, during for the second year, he could be very productive and smart.
I think he's on the hot seat, Chris Smith. I mean, we drafted Trey Taylor, who is gunning for that final depth spot at safety. I mean, if we're keeping four, I mean, you know, you got your starters in Morig, Epps, and Polomau, who deserve that first rotational spot. I mean, he, you know, exceeded my expectations the last 2 years as a UDFA, and I think he's played well enough to be that next man up. And now that next guy after that, if we're going to carry four, we're going to carry a minimum of four, in my opinion.
yeah, I had us in our picks picking forward
between Trey Taylor, the guy who won the Jim
Yeah.
Thorpe Award, the guy we drafted this year, is a high character guy, and I really like what I see and what I hear from him. Or Christopher Smith, who another guy. What did he do last year? You're talking about he's a freak athlete. Like, what did he do?
What did you see? Are you looking at college tape?
Yeah, I would say for the college save, which is between.
Yeah, but as a Raider
Georgia
last
football.
year, what did he do?
He didn't do it. He didn't play that much.
Not a damn thing.
He's a special team guy.
I mean,
But
he's
I-
good
to
at
me-
being a good
to
special
me-
team, but,
To me, you know, safeties really don't
mhm.
get hurt that they can, but we need our safeties aggressive. I like Palomau. I didn't before,
Mhm.
but he's becoming honestly what I was thinking about a move, you know, just knowing football basically is what everybody runs today. I think Palomau, if the situation with Bennett or our right corner doesn't, Hobbs is gonna have to go there, right? That or we could have what's his name? He didn't play last year.
Face on.
Face on. I had Bennett doesn't work out. I had Face on starting because he has experience. He's a veteran. He's good in the locker room. He's probably teaching. He's better than what Peters did. So I don't know if Palomar could take that slot role, but he's big enough. He's fast enough. He can do that. And then Hobbs can move upstairs, you know, to the right corner and get that smoke up there, you know. But people are iffy. Is Hobbs a good corner? Hobbs is a good at everything in that backfield. So the way I think of Hobbs is way more than. Oh, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Go.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
My bad. I didn't know you. Sorry.
Go ahead. Prove your point.
I was going to say with Hobbs, I like where he's at. Like as that money backer, you know, in the nickel / hybrid linebacker, like playing that box role that we thought there was going to be other people. I think he does at a very good / great level. I don't see why there's any reason to move. Hopefully we can find someone to take over that spot as that second guy outside of Jack Jones, whether it's Jacorian Bennett who can take that second year step, or if it's we're going for experience with Brandon Faison, or even Decam Richardson, if he can prove to be the guy off the rip, so be it. I mean, look, at least that's the extent of our problems, is that who's going to be that second outside corner. I mean, how many years have we gone where it's like we don't even have a one or a two, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Jack Jones still has more to prove, but I have all the faith and confidence that he is that dude. And he's given us hope that he can be that at the very least. But just in regards to Navy Vet's comment about, you know, a lot of players take a while to adapt to the pro level. I get it. You know, maybe it might sound like I'm giving up on Christopher Smith because he didn't really show much in his rookie year. But I'm just thinking back to, I guess, do you remember Tyree Gillespie 2 years ago? Had one season pretty much giving me shades of what Christopher Smith, like, brought a similar kind of skill set, and Polamalu outplayed him, and he was up out of here after one season. So, you know, I'm just saying, because we got Trey Taylor, we drafted him, like, you know, he's going to be that competition if we're only going to keep 4 safety spots.
Yeah, I don't got.
I mean, it could be like a lot of competition.
But Christopher Smith is a backup. Yeah, he played backup role. You know, if Epps gets hurt, I'll throw Polamalu in there. That'll be my first reserve. Polamalu is on the brink of starting on our team or some other team, because he's not just a special teams guy anymore. He developed. I was off him. I wasn't really highly. I don't like really. It's a USC thing. I don't really like USC guys, but you know, Polamalu, you know, I'm not really into pedigree, but if you're starting to feel the intent, the impact that Polamalu is making, like, you know, just like his uncle. You know what I mean? Right. We could play like his uncle now. 3 years in, a guy like that's picked so low can develop like that. You know, but if you're this Decarian Richardson guy, what was he? A 4th round pick?
4th round.
See that you should be making an impact. Now I have him right behind Jacorian Bennett if Jacorian Bennett starts.
Right.
Because you know, the Jacorian Bennett wasn't benched until AP benched him. AP benched Jacorian Bennett. Now, how is that?
That's really fair. Yes.
When AP had all this positive vibes and all that, then he sits you down. You know, then Hobbs got to go back upstairs. But
I mean, it sounds very fair.
I don't want that to happen. I don't want Hobbs.
Did you notice the jogging incidents though? With Jacorian?
I see that. And we all said this guy that we got in free agency was going to teach these young corners how to do nothing. So he didn't teach the corners anything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Marcus Peters was a drastic mistake.
He was
on this Raider team because he showed, and it hurt. Obviously, it shows what Jacorian Bennett was playing like. It shows that that's what our DBs thought was a Pro Bowl corner.
Right.
Now we get another guy, veteran guy in there, or get somebody that gets waived or because the cap, or don't make somebody's better than him. Let's pick that guy up, or let face on let face on start. I just don't want Hobbs moving around.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, DeCam Richardson is the well, at least from his college tape and production, the anti-Marcus Peters. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to put his head down, make those tackles, and bring them down, or at least try to. You know what I mean? The question mark with DeCam is, can he develop like his playmaking ability at the point of attack? Like, he wasn't really much of an interceptor or a guy who was deflecting a lot of passes at the collegiate level, but hopefully that's something that he can learn. You know what I mean? But with Jacorian Bennett, like, he's got the intangibles. It's like I said, like, okay, he's a rookie. He did make some plays, but he got beat on others. Or every cornerback takes their licks. I get it. You're never going to be invincible. Even Nnamdi Asomugha took his licks. But it's like I said, the one thing I don't want to see in his second year, especially since he's got 4.3 speed, is letting guys catch the ball and just getting away and not making an effort to at least try and catch up with them. I saw that on a few occasions. I made a point of it on one of my shows where he got beat by a guy who caught a short little drag route, and the guy ended up running away for 20 extra yards. And Jacorian Bennett, despite him having 4.3 speed, and the guy who caught the ball, it was one of the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers from the same draft class, who was not that fast. And he's running away, and he gains another 20 yards. And you can see in the background, there's Jacorian Bennett just jogging.
And right after that,
making an effort. It's like, at least try, use that 4.3 speed and get him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't want to see that happen again.
And the thing about Jacorian Bennett, man, is I wanna buy a 0 jersey. I want to get a 0 jersey, and I like this kid, but just the fact that a coach is going to sit you down like that. What are the others thinking, about you? What is the defense? What did Max say to you? What did your Hobbs say to you? What are you doing? Why are you playing like that? Sit on the bench then. You're going to play like that, get your ass on the bench.
Right.
Then,
well, he got benched, right? So
yeah, I expect a lot.
And again, he's a rookie. He's another one. Look, we're going to give him his chance to learn from your rookie mistakes. And I don't know what the hell this Higo Damas guy is talking about in the chat feed. Are you smoking something funny, my friend?
What'd you get?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. There's some kind of like it at this right now, but Gravy, about for that point, I mean, I just agree about it, because right now it seems that their team is gonna be very disciplined, because we just brought that something that, well, for over years had become like shadow banning, which is like the discipline for the team. And during for those athletes, I know you mentioned about for the rookies and the college. I mean, part of this one, because they want to keep that momentum going for that season. Whether it comes to Cool Breaker of the scene, the attendant key for the Storm. I mean, where they have it like a taking up we're closer to the class with the scene, because how very important about for the draft class it became like very successful. Because right now it all depends for the defense. But when it comes to like to Tom Telesco's management, I mean, there's always turning about for a strategy first, which is defense. I mean, one of the best case scenarios is because all 8 Raiders rookies turn like at a possible contributors. I mean, there's like a lot of chance they're at least half the game down, because between Buck Bowers, they just wanted to project as a star for the next level. That usually is gonna be difficult for the project, but he has to like a skill that show a lot for the traffic way or another. Because if it's not a threat as a receiver, he'll be like an excellent blocker. Also, there's Jackson Powers Johnson. Tenacity, versatility, to be a top high interior player, because he looked like the kind of lineman that you can plug it immediately as his plus starter for a long time. Also, they just had DJ Glaze, which is not the Glaze for the donuts, which is they should play at least for the quality depth of the offensive line, if not eventually a starter. Also, we are talking about for the Cameo Richardson. He has very impressive athletic traits and interests for the Raiders. But if he can ball production, he should be like shoot a quality starter. And of course, there was like Tommy Etchenberg, Trey Trailer, Dylan Love, MJ DeBarnship. If all in, if the
Said all their
Raiders will
names
end up
wrong.
with a star, yeah,
You said
like I
all their
said,
names wrong.
if yeah, if they had like a great start and a few long-term starters and quality depth for the later picks, I mean that would be like a success. And I believe that because I have faith and confidence that this team could be like a great season. Because if you look at CF top 10 around for the last season after the whole disaster of Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, we just see like an improvement. We just see like a breath of fresh air, bringing back the old football culture. And right now with Antonio Pierce, things are gonna change it right now. So there's gonna be all in win-win situation. It's gonna be work hard, play hard, bring back the football that we wanted to, and of course, a lot of mentality, leadership, and discipline. A lot of discipline that needs to involve with this team.
That's a great motivational speech right there. But
Okay.
what is the attitude? Tell me personally, what is the attitude with that, in your own feeling, in your own heart, that this team is gonna play the old Raiders way? Do you? I know you watch tape and you hung out with Captain Jack and OG and Avocado yourself. That football ain't around no more, bro.
I mean, there's a lot of doubters about it because I just saw for like all for the media stuff because they just said
that football
like that
is not around anymore. You can't sit there and get 400-pound linemen. These guys are different.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are different people now. They're grown different. Look at Tyree.
Yeah.
I'm saying Egyptian god names about this guy, the way he's built. They don't make them like that. They don't make defensive ends like that, bro. So I expect a lot from him. But the old ground and pound, this is going to happen. Not even Marcus Allen days. Football's not like that no more. It's way faster. These defensive players are way faster.
Exactly.
These tackles are running like running backs. And then the running backs are running like receivers, and the receivers are doing some mammal shit, some unknown times coming out of these guys. And you got corners doing the same thing. And then we mentioned that, Christopher Smith, Demarion Richardson will get up there and get a tackle and all that. Avocado, I'm sure that the defensive coordinator and AP will be pretty pissed off his team if you got a cornerback making all the tackles. That's bad.
Right.
Cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Although, like in regards to like Nate Hobbs being that box guy, I mean, he's there in that area where you should be making the tackles. Like you're right, Gravy. Like it wasn't ideal that Cam Richardson was making all those tackles at like the collegiate level against
in college.
But like at the same time, at least it shows that he has that ability and that he's willing to do that. You know what I mean? Like he's not just gonna lay back and focus all on coverage. You know what I'm saying? Like if his number's called, if he needs to make a tackle, he's gonna do that. And that's something I'd really like and appreciate with Cam Richardson. I mean, I saw one of his tape where Jaden Daniels, the guy that they were probably scouting, and this is probably one of the things that sold the scout team on Cam Richardson. Jaden Daniels was scrambling on a play against Mississippi State, and he already shook, I think, one or two defenders in the backfield. He was breaking upfield on his own. The only man between him and more green grass was Cam Richardson. You know what Cam Richardson did? Bah! Put his shoulder, put him out of bounds. And I think that's one of the things that sold me on the guy. You know what I mean? Like I like that he's willing to do that.
I got him number 2 behind Bennett, but that's if Faison starts and Bennett's not in the picture. I don't know that situation.
So you see him as that dime guy. So we say,
yeah, he's gonna get playing time. I think Richardson's going to be in the game.
That's something that can be fluid, I think, with DCam Richardson. Like, he could play his way up if those other cats are not playing to a level where it's like, right, we need you to be at least sustainable as that outside guy. And if you're not going to be sustainably okay at the very least, then we got a young guy in DCam Richardson. We'll take a flyer and see what he can do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking him to be a starter day dot, but look, sometimes these players can exceed expectations. I mean, look at guys like Max Crosby, a guy we drafted third, fourth round, and look at him now. He's one of the all elite players in the league. Like, if we can get that, I'm not saying get that, but like a guy in DCam Richardson who is going to outplay those other cats and be a decent enough outside corner right from the rip, then that's a big win from a guy we drafted in the fourth round. But we'll see what happens.
And one thing about Richardson is that during the draft, he was the number one corner out there before the kid from Alabama, before the kid from Iowa. He was the number one coverage guy. So coverage and his tackling ability was just and he's fast, he's tall.
He's fast, yeah.
Your typical guy that gets my eyes lit up saying, that's a perfect cornerback that we need. Let's quit playing around with face on and Bennett and throw them in there if they're not panning out.
Right.
And
the only knock on DCam is that, like, from what, like, look, I'm not an expert on DCam. I'm just going by what the game tape that I've seen, and I guess by the stats is that, like, I notice he hasn't proven to be much of a playmaker at the collegiate level. Like, he didn't get a whole bunch of interceptions, or even some of the balls that were thrown his way from the tape that I saw, like, you know, the receiver was able to catch the ball. So that's something he can work on at the next level if he's going to be a more complete corner, is to hone his craft when it comes to the playmaking at the point of the catch point.
What up, Leo? You want to get on, brother?
Hey. But like I said, I mean, if we had much stronger than ever, I mean, the whole discipline is going to be inducted on this team, because right now we just see like they're very involved. I mean, most of the rookies have been nervous around for the first year, but when it comes to the second year, it's about time to get work, get in shape, also to improve all those areas that are being very conserved. I mean, that's what I get to say about it. I mean, if those guys want to improve, they just wanted to be like the greatest one. They just wanted to play hard, work hard, training very hard. I mean, that could be happening a lot, because not only about the teams, they want to be like so fast right now, but just they need something to improve, but about those areas they're really concerned, and be prepared for the best.
You've been working on your little motivational discipline speech.
Yeah, I know, because I learned about for you, but I know this is something that I was like get involved with this one. But
what's up, Bugsy? How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, Bugsy?
Navy vet, what's up, Leo? I sent it to you, man. You got it. You got to get up in a few hours. You get on live, talk football. Get up over it. But you know what? I don't know how I'm saying this, Ruffle, but I agree with you. You know, I think it was a good class that we drafted. I'm not gonna give it an A. I'm not gonna give it the best of classes. But the question that I have is that during the offseason, we were the last team to make any jumps in the offseason. We had the weakest offseason ever. That's what they're saying in the media. And I'm not a media guy.
Are you talking about last year or this year?
This drive, we didn't do nothing. And per I'll tell you right now. And I rarely do this. I rarely look at information from somebody else. I just like to say what I think. But like every time close to midnight, man, my Wi-Fi goes out.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be closer to midnight, the Pacific Coast, but yes. But I understand about the point. Mm-hmm.
It says underrated. Go ahead.
And there's like another thing that we wanted to watch about for the defense. I mean, the difference between for the last season, I mean, they're just like the complete disaster because they have no combination, they have no like planning to each other along with Josh McDaniels. But this year is all about for the culture. Max Crosby and others that just bought in about for the Antonio Pierce. I mean, the training and the off season, they were going like for extra miles. Not that I wouldn't know, but it seems that it'd be like a great common denominator in a lot of successful teams. But I hope this season that defense shuts everyone down because whatever stays for the off season is super inspiring. I mean, between for the receiving course projects to be Adams, Myers, Bowers, Mayer, Turner, Tucker, with that group, our average quarterback play could be very enough. Because there's like a lot of shit talking about forgets it, but I think with that offense, has a very great choice to make it happen. If we
Who's
would
telling you?
score
Rob? Who's
25,
telling you you have a all right quarterback? That's enough for what you got.
yes.
Where you getting that from? Who says that?
I mean, I just saying for those
How
words.
could you? That's the most important position on the football field is your quarterback. How you gonna have an average quarterback with all that talent around? How is that?
I
How is
mean,
that gonna be?
I
How
mean,
is
if we
that
just
gonna
have
work?
like, I mean, we just have like a between Aiden O'Connor or Gardner Minshew. I mean, that could be happen because doing for the battle of who will be like the starter. I mean, it depends like the mobility, the speed, and of course intensity. Because if we just see like Aiden O'Connor, we just see like the last starter games about for at least last season about for like Josh McDaniels and then going after the Antonio Pierce. I mean, if we can see like at a great starting position, he needs to adapt a lot of more. Give it like at a great speed, give it like at a great intensity, and of course, give it like at a wide open position and give it like a combination with the wide receiver. Because we are relying on the talent.
Good answer, Ralph. Sorry, every time I hear you say Aiden O'Connor, I think of the singer Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
No, it has an L to it. You got to roll. You can roll it. You can roll your
O'Connell.
L's
O'Connell.
like that.
Yeah.
But so what you're telling me that all Aiden O'Connell has to do is just play average, and we'll win a couple of games.
Well, it's not gonna be like very average because we just finished like the seventh position on the defense. Whether they came like it took over because it's been like a long time because we didn't have to see like a game. No one's gonna take him for anything. I mean, recent story has very tall because last year was kind of like a very fluke, but
Hold
the
on,
defense took a very fluke.
Rafa. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Answer my question, can you? So you think that we would win a lot of games of Aiden
About for
O'Connell
the average. I mean,
of Aiden O'Connell plays average? You think that you can win a bunch of games with an average quarterback?
I don't really think so because I don't think that Aiden O'Connor could be like a very
But you
average.
just said it. You just said we got this guy, we got that guy,
In
we got that
some
guy.
games, in some games, he just
And
became.
so
In
we
some
lose the
games,
games. We lose the games when he doesn't act like that. How many of those games are we going to lose? We need
probably, but
we need our quarterback to play great. We need our quarterback to play
yeah,
elite. That
Can,
that not average.
I
can I
mean,
have a
it's
take
not that
on
very
that,
average.
Toby?
Go ahead, bro.
Well, look, ideally, it's not ideal to have like a quarterback situation in flux. Like, you know,
Mhm.
I'm there. I'm right there with you, Gravy. Like, you know, we still got to wait and see these guys to prove to be the guy moving forward for the foreseeable future, not just a short term kind of guy, not just an average guy. You know, a good long term answer. That's still to be proven. But with that said, I mean, look, like it's not outside the realm of possibility to still succeed if the quarterback isn't one of your higher tier or if he's an average quarterback. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be harder, but it can still happen. Like, I mean, you know, if we had a running game that, like, you know, is better than what we expect, if if we can at least still manage to get some, despite if our quarterback's average, if we can at least get the ball to our playmakers at the wide receiver and our tight end, who do what they do best. You know what I mean? Like, we do have players at those positions that we can have a lot of faith in. Like, Devontae Adams, he is who he is until proven otherwise. Jacoby Myers, had a very, a guy who exceeded my expectations, a very solid number 2. We've drafted very heavy with tight end room with Brock Bowers. I mean, some are touting him to be the next big thing at the tight end position, and I hope so. You know what I mean? On paper, it should work out, but we got to wait and see. You know what I'm saying? And Michael Mayer, another guy who disappointed a little in his rookie season, but a sophomore guy we drafted high last year. You know what I mean? Our offensive line, like, that's something I don't think we've talked about on your live yet, but like, I actually really like what they've done with the offensive line. We've got a young mix of experience and, like, they still need to develop, like, rookies, sophomore guys, or third year guys who are starting to really come into their own. I'm hoping those third year guys take that leap to be good players. Dylan Parham has done that to a point. I still want him to be like, a Gabe Jackson kind of guy where we can say, yeah, he's a dog. You know what I mean? Like, he's good enough as it stands, but can he be good? Period. We'll see. But Thayer Mumford, a guy like, who's only been getting better, like, who gets my silver approval. Have we finally found that young right tackle that we've been looking for the longest time now? Since I've been a fan, that position has been a turnstile of guys who are just average, below average. The best guy, the only guy who kind of solidified it for a little while, but even then it was a problem, was Trent Brown. You know what I mean? But Thayer Mumford, a 7th round guy from 2021, could possibly be the guy. And I have confidence in the guy. Like, he's only been getting better every year. So hopefully that's the case. Defensively, like, there's a lot to like. They exceeded my expectation last year. We should, on paper, have one of the more dominant defensive lines with our starters. Our linebacker, what should have been an area of weakness last year actually turned out to be an area of strength. They exceeded my expectation again. The secondary, we got good, solid guys. Like, we got potential playmakers, with Jack Jones, if he can emerge to be that top tier cornerback that I believe he can be. Like, there's a lot to like with our roster. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I share those same sentiments as you do with our weaknesses and deficiencies on paper as it stands. But we can still make things happen if what we think is going to happen, what we hope not isn't going to happen, like our quarterback situation is going to be average, can still succeed if, say, our defense is playing lights out. If, say, our running game actually works out, then, as much as it's not ideal to have a quarterback who's average, we can still work around and be a successful team.
Yeah, but we had a situation last year where our defense played great, shut the team out until the end, and we still didn't score any points.
No, that's true.
So that's a problem. Twice.
Like I said, I'm saying it's not ideal. I'm just saying it can't happen, but it can happen. You
need to be the quicker you're dominant at that position. And Cool Kev could. Most of the league has average quarterbacks, but I'm going to rebuttal that. I'm going to come up with facts with that. You tell me, out of all the playoff teams where there was an average quarterback, and I know they lost, the teams that lost their quarterback, whatever, but tell me one that was, you would say, was average.
Brock Purdy.
The 2 in the Super Bowl weren't. The 2.
You don't think Brock Purdy is average? You think
Brock Purdy's not? He didn't show it. He's in the Super Bowl. AR, I can't question that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying you asked the question.
He had the stats. He had many yards, as many touchdowns as anybody. He was an MVP candidate. I don't like the dude, but you can't stop what he did. They even had a Flacco out there outshining. You know what I mean? And then, Dak Prescott does what he does, but look at Dak Prescott's season. Look at his season. It was top 5 in the league in yards and touchdowns and all this. So we just can't do it during the playoffs. But there's not one average quarterback that was in the playoffs. You can't do that. And we did it. We seen it in the past with Dilfer. That was old football, bro. We don't play football like that no more.
Nick Foles won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. When Baltimore won the Super Bowl, it was all defense.
Who was Nick Foles quarterback for when they won the? Was that the Eagles?
Who? Nick Foles? Yeah.
Nick Foles, yes.
What's his name? Wentz got hurt.
No, but who was he quarter? Because he I mean, he was a second, third string guy who ended up winning a Super Bowl. I was just asking the question: what team was that? Was that the Eagles?
Philly. I was in Philly.
Okay.
But the thing is, he had the best offensive line in football. Great running game. Good receivers, and then they had the best.
But again, it circles back to what I was saying. Like you can still be, as much as it's not ideal, you can still
had
make
the
things
offensive
happen.
coach that was just amazing with him. They were just like a bottle rocket, you know. That changeover did kind of like the AP thing, but a quarterback. You know, Wentz wasn't producing, got them to the playoffs, got it to the Super Bowl. The Foles went and took it over. Just nothing changed. They got better. They were in a rhythm, man. Good rhythm. Once you get like that, just like after the game we played against Kansas City, you know, they say we kicked their ass and thank you for that because they didn't lose a game after we beat them. They went undefeated in the playoffs away. So that's hard to do, no matter if Kansas City or not. That's hard to win games in Baltimore.
And it's still the Chiefs' league until someone takes it away from them.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And then what do they have that's better than ours? Most significantly.
I mean, that's really fair. That's really fair. I mean, between
and a proven coach. You know, I love Antonio Pierce. Sorry to cut you off, Rafa. But you know, he's a proven coach who's won at the elite level how many Super Bowls? So yeah.
Well, Cool Kev, you're right. Cool Kev says that Purdy is average. We have soon to be that, but I seen him getting shedding 3-point touchdowns against Green Bay. They almost lost that game, but they came back with that defense. Super Bowl, his defense let them down.
Can I ask you a question, Gravy? I mean, I know what you don't like about the roster, and you pretty much share my sentiments, but what's some of the things you do like?
I like the way our offensive line is getting together, like you mentioned. I think that should be set in stone. Game one, not this rotation of, you know, bringing in Meredith for this guy, that guy playing good. We did that last year, and didn't help anybody out.
Outside injury, I agree.
I love our defensive line, our defensive front. That's what matters. That's what stops the run. That's what stops the pass. So it starts there. And it really wouldn't matter, AR, what type of DBs we would have back there. You could have you and Rafa out there playing corner. It wouldn't matter if our defensive line gets the quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll make you a Pro Bowl corner if you have a good defensive line.
What about there's a few people in the chat asking about the tight end room. How you feeling about that?
I seen that. And then Cool Kid was getting at me about something.
It's a bit further up, but like I've seen it a few times.
Okay.
About the bunch of average quarterbacks in the NFL. There's not a bunch of average quarterbacks in the NFL. They do things. That's why I brought the our tight end room's great. Very young. There could be a lot of mistakes. There could be, you know, we expected so many things from Mayer, and he only got 20 catches.
Right.
And that's for a second round pick, moving up to the second round to get him. I don't know if we moved up. I think we moved up to get him.
Yeah, we did. We moved up to get him. But I agree. Underwhelming. Like, you know, I've seen more from tight ends that we drafted further down from him in the last 10 years. So I'm hoping he can make more of the opportunities next season. But anyway,
I don't think he did anything wrong.
Me neither.
You know, I think it was probably quarterback play. You know, Aiden probably didn't start a rapport with his tight end or checkoffs to do that. But
I guess I'm just looking from a production standpoint. Like, it was just, to me, it was underwhelming, considering like we've had where we've struggled for the last, since I've been a fan, since 2009. The tight end position is has usually more often than not been a point of strength. We've always had guys there that are either up there with the best of them or very good. You know what I mean? Like there's only been few seasons where it's been very meager or average. And last season, I believe, was one of those years where it was quite meager. I was a little disappointed with our tight end production. But
We were comparing this guy to what Waller did. And
right, but look, even before Waller, we had Jared Cook. Before him, we had Clive Warford, a little bit of a disappointment, but Michael Rivera is a guy who, we drafted him in the 6th round, and I thought he showed more in even his rookie season than I saw from Michael Mayer. Before him, Brandon Meyer. Before him, Zach Miller. So it's to my point. We've had that lineage of good tight ends, and it was just a little disappointing that last year was quite underwhelming.
I hated Zach Miller wearing that Seahawk jersey, man. I hated watching.
Me too. But as a Raider, he was a very good, productive Raider.
You know who Zach Miller was, Rafa?
I mean, Zach Miller, about for this iconic player.
Don't look him up.
No Google.
You see your hands.
Eyes up.
You see your hands.
Close your eyes.
I just tried to figure it out.
He's an older guy, but he was in the mid 2000s tight end. We had
he was in the same draft class as Jamarcus Russell. Remember when we talked about that?
Oh yes, yes.
2007 draft class was one of the worst
Miller.
of all time, and I told you then I disagree. Well, we got where we flamed out with Jamarcus. We found guys in Zach Miller was one of them. I think Mario Henderson may have been another guy. We found a few guys in that draft class that were, Michael Bush. I think we got. He was another guy we drafted that year.
Oh,
Zach Miller, a tight end.
They're probably 20 years in, maybe 15. They're out the league. Some of them are probably out the league that came in that draft class. I don't think Zach Miller plays anymore.
No, he doesn't. But he was one of the first guys I noticed from that era who was one of the better players on our roster. And you could make a case for him being one of the top 5 tight ends of all time with the Raiders. So he's a name you should learn and learn well, Rafa, if you want to know your history with the Raiders.
And look at his little sister, too, in the rafters and skyboxes in Oakland. A pretty little young sister. Where we used to sit, she used to be up there dropping beer on us and stuff like that. We used to look at her, and she was all screaming about her brother. It was Rivera's little sister.
Okay, but
I was going to say, you're not talking about Rivera's sister.
Yeah.
Okay, but Gravy, did he play because before he was drafted by the Oakland Raiders, did he drafted by the Arizona State University, which is like at the college?
Yeah, he went to school at Arizona State.
Oh, yes. Because
great Googling now.
And you don't get drafted to go to college, Rafa.
Yes, because one of my neighbors, he was working now as the defensive coaching because he was a former defensive coaching for the Arizona State University, and he just saw the talent of Zach Miller. Because I have some friends who play college football, but they didn't get to the NFL at that time.
Yeah, we were talking about Rivera. So
you're talking about Zach Miller, because I just saw
we were talking about Zach Miller before, and then
we're talking about both. We're talking about both. But you looked.
Did you hear what happened with Rivera's sister, Gravy?
No,
very tragic.
What she do?
She I'm paraphrasing, but she's died a few years ago. She passed, unfortunately. I think it had something to do with a drowning incident with her son. Very unfortunate, yeah. But she was a famous actress, Naya Rivera.
Yeah.
Didn't you know that?
I didn't know that. She just
she was.
We used to sit right above the skybox seats, underneath the sky to get the shade. I got those tickets just to get the shade, and then she used to be in the skybox.
Okay.
And then every time Rivera got a touchdown, the live TV on ABC would show Zach Rivera's sister.
I saw that. That was the Washington game. That was the first time I noticed her, because I remember Matt Flynn threw a 20-yard dart, which would be his last touchdown as a Raider, to Michael Rivera. And remember Michael Rivera did the trumpet salute, and then he was doing the dance, and then the camera panned to his sexy and fly sister wearing that silver and black, and she's on the balcony going, yeah, fuck yeah.
Wow.
I didn't forget it because of how sexy she looked. She was, and that's probably why you remember too, because she was hot as fuck.
Oh yeah, but it was about. It wasn't that high. You know, we were sitting up there in the Al Shadow up there. We were getting shit on by Seahawks, but it was up there so we could do whatever you wanted in Oakland. You pay to get in there like $80 a ticket or get one from somebody out there. Then you get in. You can walk up to the top and you can drink, smoke a cigar, smoke whatever you do whatever you wanted.
She was dating somebody. I believe it was the guy who sung the song. It could be someone different, but the guy who sung that song, I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with you. Stupid ass bitch. I think that was him, but like she had a beef with Ariana Grande a few years later because apparently Ariana slept with whoever it was who was a boyfriend. I believe it was that guy. Yeah, so there's a little bit of tidbits about Naya, but yeah, she was hot as fuck, but R.I.P. Very tragic what happened. Yeah, there you go.
Cool Kev is right because that's what we were looking at. Cool Kev.
Well, to be fair, like she's not hard to not notice. I mean, all you need to do is do a Google search of Naya Rivera, and you'll see what I'm talking about. She's fit as fuck.
Oh man,
Rafa's already doing it. You can count them all.
No, just
you got some video for you got video for the night.
Oh yeah, because I know that.
But something I wanted to ask you guys, this stream is gonna go as long as we're into it. And Jalen Richard has officially retired, ex-Raider, retired from football. Did you guys know that?
I heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Canyon Drake.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm trying to get this.
You
get the point. Yeah, I heard about Jalen Richard. I always appreciated Jalen. I mean, you've heard me how many times, even when he was part of the Raider roster, in my raves about him and what I appreciated about him. Like I believe I was the first to really notice, like, to me, like he was the best pass protecting running back, not just with us, but like you name one better in the league. Like it was something I most definitely noticed. I mean, the guy would always make those blocks, be pointing out blitzes, doing similar stuff to what a center was doing. And that's something that you rarely see from a running back. And I, for one, appreciated that. But also I appreciated the playmaking ability that he had. Like, I mean, granted, in his later years with the Raiders, he didn't do so much at that, but like, especially in his early years, like no one's going to forget. Or I'm going to ask you, Rafa, maybe you might know, what was Jalen Richard's first play as a Raider that people remember? Do you know?
Oh, okay. So I just
I know you know, Gravy. I know people in the chat will know.
I got a couple of them. I got a couple of Jalen Richard.
The first one, the very first one, the most famous play from Jalen Richard. I'll give you a hint, Rafa. It was against the Saints, 2016.
Oh, 2016. Okay, so that was like at the between when Derek Carr was there.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. We're asking you about Jalen Richard.
I mean, that was like, because that was like a between for the season 26, 27. I mean, they really came for like at the playoffs, I think, because
we just made the playoffs that season.
But that was like
look, I'll educate you, Rafa, because you probably don't know. It's
okay. So that was like the week number 2.
Jalen Richard came in as an undrafted free agent, so he barely scraped onto the roster because we drafted a running back that year in DeAndre Washington, who I like DeAndre Washington, but Jalen Richard actually outplayed him and deserved being a Raider and getting another contract. He was a Raider up until 2021. But anyways, his first game as a Raider, not many people knew who he was outside of the diehards who follow the team and get to know like the players' names, much like we do. I believe it was the third quarter. They were on the 40-yard line inside their own half, and Derek Carr handoff right up the middle to Jalen Rashad. Jalen Rashad just went go gone straight up the middle, ghosted everybody, took it to the house. It was like 60-yard run, and he burnt like not just like they were nowhere on the screen. He burnt everybody, and I just remember his celebration. They're doing the whole kind of wolf thing, and after he did that, everybody got super hype. I was just like, I'm gonna remember that name.
The one I remember when it was third and 30 or third and 42 or something. I don't know who was playing.
The halfback toss.
He got that halfback toss, and he got us that first down.
It was the Saints.
That was the same game.
I thought you were talking about the halfback toss against the Saints in 2020, where he took it for a touchdown and did the gritty.
He didn't take it to the touchdown, but he got the first down. It was 3rd and 30, and then possible.
That was against the Chargers, I think. The halfback, the delayed handoff.
Okay.
He got the ball. I believe it was a draw. Went right up the middle. They got it was 3rd and long, super long.
Yeah.
There's they're gonna punt after this. They might as well I could just hear the commentator saying, they're just gonna put this in position for the punter to be in the middle of the hashes and all this stuff. Dude, Jalen Rashard gets the ball and gets 31 yards, first down Raiders, and then we end up scoring on the next play.
Oh.
That was great seeing you. And then I give much love to anybody. It starts with pass protection. Every running back needs to know that. If you have a running back that doesn't do that, put him on third string.
Jalen Rashad is the bar of what you. I mean, I can't name one running back who I've seen more that did that job better than he did. He did that.
He made a lot of money. He made a lot of money just pass protecting. Very important in football, especially as your running game is concerned. Passing game is concerned. Is to have that
run against the Jets, I believe, 2016 or 17. That's another memorable run from Jalen Rashad. He took for a touchdown. But yeah, his last memorable touchdown for me was that halfback toss. I believe it was in a win against the Saints. And I believe it was a game-winning touchdown. He took a halfback toss on the right sideline, and I think it was like 30 yards. Took it to the house, and then the whole offense went to the wall, and they were doing the gritty celebration before the gritty was even a thing. That was actually my first time I'd seen the dance. Was Jalen Rashad doing it with the whole team up the sideline? So yeah. Look, once a Raider, always a Raider, and a very good Raider. Jalen Rashad, thank you for your services. I always appreciate it and like the guy, and I hope the best for him in his coaching career. So,
he wants to be a coach. That's a good thing. Me, being a running backs coach, I can appreciate what he did. Way more than what other people's expectations of other people are.
Right.
And then if we want to look at this Raider squad now, is there a guy that could block these linebackers, these defensive tackles, these defensive ends as good as they are now? And they're all going to get better. There's a new wave of 6'2", 14-year-olds right now playing football. I've seen them. I see how they are. So you're going to have a bunch of Tyree Wilsons coming in the draft being, wide receivers. Or next thing you know, you're going to have a 230-pound wide receiver that can run a 4.29, 4.28. And that's coming. And so what that means is just the basic football that Jalen Rashad made to perfection. To be there and call out, I got this blitz. I'm gonna stay home. Just for a running back to say, I'm gonna stay home and protect you instead of swinging. I think it'll be a better idea. And the running back being right, that's to a coach is phenomenal. More than what another running back with the 1,200 yards.
I don't, now that I think about it, I don't think I can remember any other instance where I saw a running back that we've had calling out blitzes the way Jalen Rashad did. Like usually that's the center's job. He's the one who's pointing. But I can't remember any other time where I noticed that quite a few times with Jalen Rashad, he'd be sitting in that that halfback spot, like in the kind of to the offset to the quarterback, not quite right behind him, but like to the left or to the right. And he'd be standing there and be like, pointing. You know what he's doing? He's pointing out the, I'm no technician, I'm no coach, but you can tell he's
doing something.
And he was getting them right because he was, the guy would come and Jalen Rashad would just meet them at the contact point and take them down. You know what I mean? Like I cannot remember one occasion where I noticed him getting beat badly. And Jalen Rashad is no big dude. He's not a big guy. He's quite. I mean, he's stocky, but he's short. You know what I mean? He was able to do his part in keeping these guys away that are twice his size and probably twice as strong. You know what I mean? So like I said, I can't show my appreciation enough for Jalen Rashad. Like it was definitely something I noticed.
You get one of those now, you would love it.
Hopefully it's Dylan Lorby, right?
No.
Hopefully.
AR, it's so hard for me to not dislike what the Raiders did to mess up this running back room as much as they did, for the fact that we didn't get anybody else. We got a guy from New Hampshire, probably damn good football player. He has great tape in college. It's different. It's way different because then you got to do protection. You got a guy that's kind of little, that, and then we go ahead of ourselves and say McCaffrey 2.0 on this guy.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
There ain't another one of those.
I'm not thinking it today.
They're not another one of those. That's why you have guys like McKinnon from Kansas City. He's a free agent. You got, Hunt. That's great at that. You're gonna have a lot of running backs coming out of the cuts.
You talking about Kareem Hunt?
Kareem Hunt will be great for us.
Yeah, he'll never be a Raider, man. They'll never take a chance on him.
Yeah, I know that, but
you know why the Jim the Fred Biletnikoff rule.
I'm pretty sure almost there's a lot of football players with that type problem. Then if it's a bad thing that happened to these guys when they do stuff like that, but how stupid they are in a rational decision at a time where it didn't happen repetitively. If he was just beating people down all the time, then I would understand why he ain't playing in the league. But he still has an opportunity. He still has an opportunity to play with Cleveland.
Can you think of anyone though in the last decade a bit that Mark Davis has taken a chance that's had an incident when it comes to domestic violence? Because I know, like I said, for those who don't know in the chat, one of the Davis family's closest friends, as well as like a great Raider, Fred Biletnikoff, lost his daughter to domestic violence, unfortunately, a while ago. And I can't remember if it was Al or Mark was quoted as saying there's a 00 Jim Otto chance of anyone with that kind of history playing for the Raiders. We take chances on players who have done whatever, off field issues and that, but I think domestic violence, like beating on a woman, especially killing someone, like I think that's something that they just won't look past.
I agree with you with that. But if you look at something and an owner just, if you got a Christian McCaffrey out there, right? And Chris McCaffrey gets, indicted or something, or judged on smacking his lady. These guys have to make decisions. Do you want Christian McCaffrey on your team? Right. Is he good enough? We'll see, because there hasn't been a running back good enough with that type problem ever to be on the Raiders.
Right. No, I get it. Like when a player's production can kind of maybe offset the off the field issues, whatever it may be. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to fault the Davis. I actually like that he's standing on his principles when it comes to domestic violence. Like, that's not something, even if a player is elite like that, I'm not going to say, oh, well, that's a bad thing. That's a bad decision. Like, we're not taking a fly on this guy. Like, if that's his principle, that I don't care how good you are, if you're beating on a woman or if you have a history of doing that, then I'm not even going to look at you.
I'm
Yeah,
glad.
I understand.
And I'm glad that rule is in his mind and his, I'm for that. My dad would, if I laid a hand on a woman, my dad would come out straight from heaven and probably jack me up. But I'm not that type man, and I understand why. But I also understand that that dudes make mistakes. But the thing is with that, if you're gonna hold it on a guy, what else does he know how to do? But it's his fault. It's his fault that he put his hands on a woman. And then one of your players' daughters, one of your great players' daughters got killed by something like that. But if the situation is that bad to where it was repetitive, and it had to be a problem. It had to be a repetitive problem. And then that, if you just got one little fight, are you going to shake it off? Because they're going to do their investigating, no matter who it is.
And Kareem Hunt's effect, like, it seems like he's done that. Like, he hasn't had any other incidents, and it seems like he's kept a clean career. Like, he's actually, at one point, he was one of the better running backs in the game until he did what he did, and then the Cleveland Browns took a chance on him, and he was still a highly productive player. Good for him, but it's just, like I said, like, if that's that Davis family's principle, like, even if it is in the past, it's still there. I'm not even going to take a chance on players with domestic violence for the reasons that I highlighted before. But sorry, what were you saying? Did we draft someone?
I don't see us going away from that type rule, because I would be that way. But you're in a business to where you have to win to be productive and to make money, and all that put aside, we put our personal feelings, and it's a big major issue. It's a big issue. You should get some repercussions as far as your life if you do that. But just like you think when Henry Ruggs gets out of prison early, that somebody ain't gonna have him in the training camp looking at him?
No, I don't. But all I'm saying is that, like, if it's a team's principle not to look past those big issues and not take a chance on these guys, especially in the case of what I just highlighted, I'm not going to fault them for that. Like, I'm going to stand with that. Like, I appreciate that they stand on their principles, despite the fact that maybe getting this guy, whoever guy it may be in the future, might be beneficial for us and might take us over the top. I'm cool with it being that, like, we're not gonna look at this guy on principle, that being that he's done this and it's against it's detrimental to the right away.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's kind of a touchy subject, but but there's guys out there, Avakazi.
There's guys out there that will take a chance. I'm saying is that, like, I'm standing by the Raiders if they don't take a chance.
Because what I looked at was when we got Bowers and we didn't get an offensive lineman.
Okay.
I knew, and my whole thing with the draft was get a running back early, get him in the third round, get him in the go to 2. I always had Powers coming to us on almost every draft, every mock draft I did. But also that Powers kid, he needs to be starting. That's what I view in this guy. We're Incognito 2.0. That's the thing about this Jackson Powers.
I've heard that comparison. I hope that's the case. That'd be nice.
So I hope it's the case when Incognito was a Pro Bowl guy. But he didn't do shit for us in 2 years. But
he was decent enough, like, when he was healthy
for 1 year.
Right.
for
I
one.
mean, look, we signed him to a cheap contract, and when he was on the field, he was actually playing as one of the better. I mean, he wasn't what he once was, but he was still good enough. But just with what you said about his comparison, I hope that's the case, because, like, as much as I like our offensive linemen, I've said this on a few lives. I don't think I've shared a live where I've said this. Like, for me, I don't see any of our current starters being that enforcer type dude that we've usually had. You know what I'm saying? Like a Donald Penn, like a Kalichi Osemele, a Rodney Hudson. You know what I'm saying? Like Gabe Jackson. Like, you know, those guys were all like kind of that enforcer. The guy who's going to get in there and get in other players' face and let them know what's up when, you know, somebody puts in an unnecessary hit, or somebody that the defense is going to think twice about messing around with.
Mhm.
And as much as I like a lot of the offensive line and I like what they do, they're nice guys, which is cool if they can produce, cool. But I want a guy who's got a bit of nastiness to him. And I see that with Jackson Powers Johnson. Like, he seems to be that guy who can be that in time.
I think our offensive line's nasty. As far as
I don't know, man. Look at it. Like Colton Miller, he's good, but he's a nice guy. Dylan Parham, he's good enough.
Get
He's a
penalties
nice
for
guy.
everything.
Andre Miller, James, nice guy. Thayer Mumford could be.
They're taking away so much of the physicality of football nowadays. Is that they want it to be like a finesse game. They don't want to see blood and offensive linemen jerseys all dirty and blood hanging out their nose and people getting knocked out. That's a violent front right there when you have your defensive and offensive line going. Those guys are nasty. We're nastier than we were last year. Just with the addition of this guy, it'll his little way that he is gonna go down the line, bro. And then people are gonna start saying, "Hey, we can win this way." And then what we were bad at was the run game. A running offense. We were one of the, we had the 10 best offensive line, but throwing the ball, we were good. Pass protection. Running the ball.
I went as far as to say that I thought if granted he did show that he could play with the last 4 games of the season, and I believe that's the reason why we didn't draft higher than we did at running back. But if Zamir White hadn't shown or had continued to show what he'd showed up until that last quarter of the season, we would have drafted a running back a lot higher than we did.
But do you think we still would have got this kid from New Hampshire?
I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, draft boards chop and change when you take a player earlier. I don't know. All I'm saying is that, like, I believe if Zamir White hadn't shown what he showed, to give us some kind of hope that he can be a productive running back sustainably going into the future, if he's given the chance to. Like, up until then, we were talking about it before. What did he show? Absolutely nada. He had twice as many fumbles as he did touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't hit a hole if there was if there was a someone, I think it was Ray Ben shouted to him, like, if there's a light pole in the middle of the desert, and it was just him and he was asked to run around it, he would hit it.
He would hit it.
You know what I mean?
Well, that was the thing that he was running, and we're running the same stuff this year. So where's all that at, AR? That's what I'm asking. Where is all that was before? Now we think through 4 games, that we get 4 games, 400 some yards, 500 yards.
Right.
That this guy was impressive enough to show us that we did something is wrong with our running game. We're so quick to say, he's gonna pan out. And we think that the guys developing on the rope on playing time, it's gonna always lead to losses. That production that he should be doing right now, he shouldn't be, given the opportunity to. There should be somebody younger, better after him. Your plan, your Christian McCaffrey should be running back number 2 right now, the 3rd round pick.
Right.
Not Luby, a guy that's projected to be a kick returner right now.
Right.
And all of us are saying, that Luby's going to get all this action. I don't know if he is, and I'll be wrong to say that he won't, but playing what he plays, you see the guy going up the middle against New Hampshire, but it's different, man, when you're playing against Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, even these other teams. We have great defense we're playing against. We have a game against the number one defense overall last year, Cleveland Browns. Who knew that? Did you know that the Cleveland Browns were the best defense in the NFL last year at the end of the season?
I think I may have heard about that,
Yeah.
but you know me.
We were up
Gravy,
there.
My care for other teams is
There's nothing
little
to
next
get.
time.
But we have to
only
play
care
these
about
teams. We have to play
get
these defenses that ain't going to get any better, that are just going to get better with their young guys because they know they have a good defense. And we're going to go back to where we have to score points. We didn't score enough points for that defense to. We're all saying our defense is going to be dominant. Even Rafa, I get bored by Rafa saying this defense.
Yeah, I understand about it, but
Like the only thing that's on that squad out of 11 players is just the defense. But you need to score points too, and all of us know that. Now, with the incompetency of the quarterback situation and the running back situation, is it going to be hard? Because we know we got guys that can catch the ball.
Yeah.
Do we got the guy? We got a guy that can deliver it. We got two accurate quarterbacks. We got one that can move around and one that can't, and that won't. So, which one are you going to go with? That's going to be the denominating factor. We know we have a good defense. We're just going to get better. So, drain that all you want. Our defense is good, but what are we going to do as far as scoring points in the red zone? You had 9 touchdowns and one. Okay. How many did your running back have? 1 out of those 4 games he played. 1 touchdown.
Still has twice as many fumbles as touchdowns.
You need that. You need to have a type of balance, and that's why teams lose in playoffs because they're unbalanced. Your offense isn't up to where your defense is, and that's the perfect case. Like San Francisco, they have the right mix, but they played a better team. Sometimes it just leads to that. And I think Andy Reid's a better coach than Shanahan. How could you say that? Shanahan doesn't have the hardware, but, I think Kansas City destroyed San Francisco. If you really look at it, Kansas City destroyed San Francisco in the second half. Those all-pro corners and all-pro linebackers and defensive front were barely getting up off the ground because they ran the ball down their ass so much. Now, do we have a guy that can do that in a Super Bowl or a playoff situation? That's my question to you.
Until proven otherwise, we still need to find that out because it's, I hear yours. I echo your same sentiments.
Yeah.
Gravy. I don't disagree, but at the same time, I'm going to give these guys a chance. I'm not going to fully just throw them on the bus and just say, no, they ain't it. You know what I mean? Especially a guy with Aidan O'Connell, being so young, he's only had a rookie season. What can he do in his sophomore year? I'm going to give him a chance to see how it all shakes out. If he even does earn the starting spot, because it's like I said, I believe preseason is going to tell the story. Whoever outperforms whoever in preseason, whoever's the better performer is going to be that day one starter. Mm-hmm. But there, on the positive, there's things in place that we do like. We talked about our running back core we're not so high on, but the others, the other spots on the offense, the offensive line, the wide receiver room, and our young, talented, unproven, but it should work out on paper. Our tight end room, there's pieces there that should, if our quarterback situation works out, we should be okay.
That's a lot of we should be okay right there.
I know, man. I'm just trying to get 2 sides of the coin. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom. You know what I
mean? I hate being that way, AR. And then I became that way because I was so tight-lipped with Derek Carr. Right. I became this way. But I just say, why don't I just say what I feel? That I don't like Derek Carr. That I don't like the way he's producing. I don't like, and I don't want to make this a Derek Carr conversation, but
Right.
I didn't like what he was doing. And then we lost games, never made it to the playoffs. We kept it on too long, paid him too much money for what he is. Now we're seeing what he is. He might have a great season, he might have a good season. People, oh, this and that. Get off that shit because he ain't a Raider no more.
Right. He's
And
not a
if
Raider.
you want to
right?
keep up with them, then go do that yourself. But don't bring it up to any show. Then me being typed up, I held my breath so much for this guy and the mistakes that he was doing that I said, you know what, I'll just let it out. Just forget Derek Carr, man. And then people, you don't even know the response I got, bro. People were calling me a personal IGs. How dare you talk about a guy who, of the church like that? And I go, this had nothing to do with the dude's from. He went to school where I'm from, man. You think I haven't seen enough of this guy's mistakes already? It looks the same way, even with DA, still lost. You know, just because you got your best friend playing with you now doesn't mean that you're gonna be all world. He threw for a lot of yards, but he made a lot of mistakes, bro. I was tired of this dude on fourth down, going for it on fourth down and throwing it away and it's out of bounds. Right. Tired of this shit.
I'm on the other side of the coin. Like the way I like to do things when players are no longer Raiders, you know what I mean? Like I like to look at the whole body work, not just how it ended, but like, okay, was there periods of his career where he was good and he produced? Like Jacobs, like Waller, like Renfro. Carr falls in that category. So I appreciate Carr for the good times rather than look at the end and being that's my full exclamation mark on how I'm going to feel on Derek Carr. Everybody's different, whatever. But my thing is that, like, you know, as much as I'm a Derek Carr supporter and I still appreciate the good things he did with us, it was the right time to move on. But like with that said, my question was always, okay, if Derek Carr is not the answer, what is our answer? What's going to be the solution? And we're still trying to figure that out. You know, I mean, granted, it's only been 2 years since he's not here anymore, but you know, again, we look. I'm going to give these guys a chance, but we don't have a bona fide. Yes, he's the guy that we're going to groom and we're going to focus on, and he's going to take us there in time. You know what I mean? Like we don't have that yet. We haven't had that for a while. You know what I mean? Like outside of the early years of when Derek Carr was here, when he showed promise in 2014, 15, and then he put it together in 2016 and almost had an MVP type year. We went to the playoffs, and then what happened. You know what I'm saying? But you know, outside, like, you know, before and after Derek Carr, you look at the quarterback carousel that we've had. You know what I mean? It's been a bunch of guys who are either good for a minute, average, or just downright trash. You know what I'm saying? And that's not. I don't want to go through that again. I want some stability. I want a guy we can be confident that's going to take us into the future, not just the Band-Aid type guy, not just someone who's average, and definitely not someone who's trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm hoping to get out of one of these two cats, but we'll see.
What do you think, Rafa? Who's your quarterback?
I mean, for the starter, I mean, that was just because I'm about to get Slay right now, but hopefully the starter could be Aiden O'Connor. Okay. I mean, for the first one, Aiden O'Connor, and the second one, Gardner Minshew. I mean, there are some things that are there that they can really improve, but I think that Aiden O'Connor could be like the great solution to be a starter.
Brother of Sinead O'Connor.
Yep. I will say that, but anyways, I got a rest of the sleep right now because right now I know it's the Eastern time, but thanks for having me, Gravy, also Afakasi. And I know that I was listening because I was like getting involved with a lot of information because I know that sometimes I get involved with the whole history about for the organization, about for the defense. But it was a great pleasure to give me to educate about for those fun facts. But Gravy, I salute you. Afakasi, I see you. And of course, it's been a while, but have a good one, folks, and salute to you guys. Have a good night.
Do me a favor, Rafa. Do me a favor. I want you to go to your library or look online about the West Coast offense. Okay?
Okay.
Because I personally, I don't think you understand. There's a lot of people, not just you. There's a lot of people that don't understand what the 12 personnel concept is. So if you can just do that. I'm not giving you, you don't have to, but you'll get a grasp of what I'm talking about more better than what you're saying,
Okay.
kind of.
Okay.
But thank you for coming, man. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, bro.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Take care,
Take
Ralph.
care.
What's up?
You take care. Well, Wakazi, I've done 2 shows with 2 hours, man. So I never get my feel of football, but I'm an old man and it's past my 2 nap time. I'm gonna take 2 naps tomorrow. Just to
Thanks
come
for
up
having me
for
on,
this.
Gravy. I was actually gonna have my own midday siesta, and then I saw you messaging. I'm like, I haven't been on a panel for a minute, especially your panel. So yeah, why not? I'll come.
It's
tap
always
in.
cool, man.
It's always
Anytime
fun,
you want,
man.
anytime you want to talk ball, man, I know you come with it. You never have a problem with it, with your takes or what you do. But we're trying to get Joe on for forever. I guess he don't like us no more. We're in the same city, and
Don't
really
say that. Like Joe's you know,
he busy.
everybody
Yeah.
knows Joe, my relationship with Joe.
Mhm.
Joe's got his personal life. I mean, he
Yeah.
hasn't even been on my lives. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
won't get too much into it, but much love to Joe. You know, he's got
Just
his own
tell him
thing.
what's up for us, man.
You know,
Just tell him what's up for him.
he's my guy.
We're thinking about him all the time. I know his work schedule. I know it's tough for him.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is to be on this stuff, man. Other things besides, it's very close, but other things besides the Raiders.
I mean, look, life has its priorities. Like this to me. I mean, I'm not making money from it. It's about fun and communing with my fellow Raider brothers and sisters because I'm on my own little bubble, like here in Australia. Like I watch Raider games alone. I don't talk to anyone outside of you guys because there's nobody else gets excited about Raider football like I do. It's like I'm in my own little bubble, but here's a chance for me to, you know, commune with people who are just as passionate. Who's you know, Raider football is a big part of my life. You know, it's right there. You know, here on my wrist. I wear the clothes. I got, you know, you guys know what it is. But thanks for having me on, Gravy. I do appreciate you.
So we saw the game at 1:00. What time is it over there when you get the game?
1 p.m. West Coast time is 4 p.m. Sorry, 1. So usually the games like that were 1 p.m. Pacific time. So in Vegas or in Oakland, that would be 4 a.m. Monday morning for me.
So you have to get up early to watch the game. Man.
Yeah. So look, if I as long as the only thing that's going to keep me away from Raider football is like life commitments, like work or whatever. Like, you know, I can't be getting up at 3, 4 in the morning if I've got to work at 6 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So, I over the years I've mastered the art of, like, you know, turning every notification off of my phone, nothing from IG, nothing from Facebook, everything off until I've watched the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody just fuck off, leave me alone. I want to watch the game first, and then I'll go on my social media because I've got Game Pass where you can watch the game. Like, if it's been played at 1 a.m., I can go back and watch it from the start in the morning when I wake up. So
you get a whole, like, kind of a late view of what we're all talking about. So we kind of mess it up for you.
If I'm not watching live, that's what I do.
Yeah, we kind of mess it up for you talking about all this shit until you really find out. Man, you gotta. I know it's tough, but I would love to meet you, man, and chop it up with you out in person. You know, I can't. I don't like flying, so. But
I would love to. I mean,
if you come to Vegas or LA, man, just let us know, man.
It would probably be LA. Like, I have dreams and aspirations to make it happen again. I mean, you know, I've been to America before, but like, my life and money situation was a little bit better then. It's not quite there where it once was at the moment for personal reasons. I'm not going to get into my personal life, but you know, I do have hopes, dreams, and aspirations to be back one day, especially now that, like, you know, I got to know you and a lot of the other guys in the LA or even across, you know, wherever it is in the States. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a dream to come over and meet you guys for the first time and be able to watch a game. It'd probably be in LA, like a Los Angeles game rather than Vegas. That I'm getting priced out of Vegas, man. Like the flights to get to Vegas is like $2-3 grand alone.
Yeah.
And that's just to get there. And then you got to worry about accommodation. You got to worry about tickets to the game. I mean, we already know what their prices are like to get the tickets to the game. So, you know,
You got a lot of.
if there's a will, there's a way to make your dreams come true. But like, it would be more feasible to go to a game in Los Angeles. And to be honest, I kind of like the LA vibe more than I do the Vegas vibe at the moment. So,
yeah. Well, we're gonna be at the Charger game, first game of the season, and we're also gonna make it to the Rams game. So, me, Lo, and Gabe getting together. We're gonna do a show for at his spot, at his Miguel's spot for the Charger game. So
okay.
maybe we will send the invite to you there so you can see what's really going down up in LA.
I'll swim over and I might make it as long as I don't get eaten by the sharks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Judd, what is it like? I'm looking on the TV, man. What is it like? Shark Year over here, or something like that? Because
literally, like just that way, maybe across the road and a little short walk is the beach, and there's a shark siren that goes off once every while. They are known to circulate around this area, so that would be my first issue if I was to swim to the States, is to get past there. So I might have to invest in a canoe. That might be
not even that, bro. I'll fly, bro. I'll be Superman and fly for free, whatever. But if you can, man, get the best flight over here, then you'll be laced up, Afakazi. You get taken care of, man. All of us know you.
I would love to.
You know.
I'd love to. Hopefully one day, my friend.
Yep. Well, thank you everybody for being in the chat. I hope it was beneficial to you to keep you up with you guys that don't sleep that well. Avakazi's got it early in the morning, so he has a whole day ahead of him, which is Monday.
It's actually 3:47 p.m. right now.
Yeah.
So
in the evening. That sounds like it's a long ways, bro. You know, that just sounds like it's a long ways away. You know, the next day, we just barely hit Monday.
Right.
12:47.
It's just gone past midnight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That did 2 shows today. We had a great show with Gabe. I don't know if you watched that one, but tune in with us at AR and
you guys
let everybody
usually like around 8 p.m. Pacific,
8 p.m.
right? Yeah. I know. You guys are live every day. I see it.
Yeah, and then Gabe's gonna pump up his new channel with the Wake and Bakes and the 420s on Wednesdays. I'm gonna do some things with Stogies with Gravy at night or after school's coming up. So, and then I'm semi getting into the football coaching aspect of it. I gotta slow things. So what I'm doing is I had a friend of mine that's an offensive coordinator for a very high school up here, and I'm gonna be taking a look. They're paying me to do this, and so I'm gonna go down and look at the team they played the next week. So I take notes from that. It'll be me and by myself. Then I'll be in the booth during their games. I'll be pretty busy, man. Get paid for it. Get paid to coach football, dude. I love it. There's nothing best than doing that.
Well, that's what you bring to the table with, like, you know, you got a lot of takes that I agree with, you know, maybe some of them not so popular, but like, you know, you have your own unique style you were talking about, and that's something you bring to the table. You've got a coaching pedigree. You're an X's and O kind of guy, whereas me, I don't get it twisted, man. I've got zero pedigrees when it comes to the X's and O's of football. I can only go by what I see and how I feel about what I see. I'm not one of these cats like some of these other cats who pretend like there's some analysts that know, you know, this, that, and the third about like Raider football and are calling out former players saying that they don't know football. It's like, who gave you that pedigree when you're just a fan just like me? I ain't like that. You know what I mean? I would never give my opinions and you know, tell you how I feel from a fan's perspective. No better than anyone. I would never do
that to a player. If a player gets on the show, I ain't gonna argue with him.
Right.
I played football. I didn't play football in the NFL. I played at junior college. The highest I ever coached was junior college. But
I made one preseason as a right tackle for my local team back in 2017. mean, that's the extent of my football.
You might have a lot of X's and O's, but I've game planned for games. I know what it's about. My guys
Right.
that played in the league, got friends that played in the league, or if you get invited to be in a camp and work out with these NFL guys, you're on somebody's mind. So that means you're a damn good football player. Everybody that's in the NFL right now playing, even if you have 90 players or 110 players or whatever, you are a good football player. There's a reason why you have this USFL league, and then
Right.
you'll be able to see the total difference in the way football is played. You know,
The
they
top
pick
0.00001% percentile of people who play football.
you're gonna be good. So I don't. That's why I never put down a player about his ism as far as the Raiders are concerned or football. I'll just say he doesn't produce, or he doesn't fit my style. And that's what I mean about players. I'm not saying Tyree Wilson sucks. I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell sucks. The dude played in the NFL and completed passes and scored touchdowns in the NFL. He's a damn good quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's different categories of that in my eyes. And so that's what I like to bring up.
There's an expectation if
Mhm.
you're at that level that you need to hope. Well, as fans we'd want you to meet. And Tyree Wilson is one of them. Like there's quite a few players that I've earmarked that I feel have underwhelmed so far, and that you need to produce a little bit better, but they're going to get their chance. Tyree, Aiden O'Connell, Zamir White, they're going to get their chance.
I want Tyree to play with. I want him to get busy. I want to see what type of freak this dude is.
Me too.
You know? Is he the Anunnaki? Is he from that breed? Is he that special? Then prove me wrong. But I'm not saying that you suck. I'm just saying, hey, that if you're picked that so high, then you should have been ready to go when we needed you,
right?
And produce.
I just get the Cleve Farrell kind of vibe, and that's the stink of it. It's like,
well, that's
you
bad.
don't draft top 10 for a rotational guy at best.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what you want. I don't care how you cook it, how you cut it. You know what I mean? That is not good enough. And I don't want that with Tyree. And he's going to get a chance to prove that he isn't just a rotational guy at best.
You get pushed around, how big
he
you
is
are.
Hopefully like what this Higo Damascus said, from a higher dimension where there's grand tournaments from the best teams across the galaxy.
Where's that at?
That was that comment that cat
Oh
said.
yeah, he was. I know. I started that Anunnaki Tyree thing,
right?
Because they look. If you see pictures of these cats, they look, unhuman. And when you see Tyree, he doesn't look like. He looks like he was put together by scientists. It's different. You don't see guys like that. They don't make guys like that. But if you look at him, you say, damn, he'd be a badass football player or a badass, power forward or something like that. But if, as far as the football is concerned, to expect this from this man, you would expect Dynamo Tate, first season. But then you picked the guy that was hurt. That you could have got somebody better,
Right.
And maybe Tyree still would have been there at 2.
The other stink of it is that, how many of these guys in the last 10 years, I'm talking about first round specifically, of these first round cats, the guys who we've got guys who were were good players / game changers in that time. Not as many as what we would like, but we've hit on guys like Khalil Mack, like Josh Jacobs, like Amari Cooper for a minute. You know what I mean? Like those kind of guys, they were good from the jump. But I'm looking at the other first rounders that we took in that time frame. Well, since I've been a fan, that underwhelmed in their rookie year. There's only been one guy in the last since 2009 that I can think of that underwhelmed in his rookie year but panned out in time, and that was Colt Miller. Every other guy we've waited for either amounted to not much, a rotational guy, or just wasn't it, period.
And that's what I say. What I'm tired about.
Yeah, I'm tired of it too.
Tired.
I'm tired of
I'm
it
tired.
too. But,
If you're
uh,
accepting, if you're accepting this right now, but the situations that we have as far as running back's concerned and quarterback is concerned, maybe the other corner or whatever, or linebackers too is a concern for me. That we accepted the losing and we just we're going to the let them develop. Let them develop as you go. But then if you develop a quarterback as games go by, you're gonna lose games. And we can't afford that. If we're talking playoffs with AOC, you can't have it both ways. You can't say AOC have a bad season and we go 10 and 7 or something like that, 10-8. That ain't gonna happen.
I know you said you wanted to go, Gravy, but
Yeah.
just before you do, you mentioned the linebacker core. You don't like it.
I'm not. I think we can get better. I think we can get better at that position. I'm not.
Okay.
Well, dude, I'll tell you this right now. I'll talk football all day with you. I just, if you want to stay, just let me know. Okay.
I got another 15, and I got to take my dog out. But
All
anyways,
right,
you're talking about
15
linebacker.
minutes. That's good with me. Now, this is what I think about our linebacking situation. I think with our core, I love Spillane. He's your middle linebacker, and I think we got another one in Ohio State, that Etchenberg guy. That's going to be Spillane. Yeah, he's going to be Spillane's backer. I'm backing up Spillane. He's that type guy, Dan Hill linebacker. Those are good to have. They're kind of going away now with better athleticism and stuff like that, which Diablo I have problems with. I think Diablo could be a surprise get out of town move. I don't know why Masterson's there. I'm not confident in Masterson. It's just, and then what we have as backups, I'm not really. They don't really shine for me as
Okay.
as a thing as I want them to be. We need a besides a Spillane type linebacker. I thought we could have got a linebacker with more athleticism at the same spot, but that could do what Masterson does, because Masterson, Diablo led everybody in tackles last year. Okay. And the situation that when we talk on the Raider Nation Live show, with me, Gabe, and Low talk about, is like, okay, Diablo doesn't initiate the hit at the line of scrimmage. You see what I mean? Like, the running back gets the ball, boom, the linebacker, defensive tackle should be there. You shouldn't get no yards before the line of scrimmage tackles. That's the best way. You don't gain anything. You put them behind the first down one. You know what I mean? You lose yards, or you meet them right at the line of scrimmage where they don't gain any. You make it tougher for them on third down. So
you don't think he did that better than he did his first 2 seasons last year?
Well, he did it he did it a lot of tackles, but he did it after the running back would gain 5, 6, 7 yards. It'll be hanging on the back of their, hips and feet and all that stuff. Now, what we found out is that that's not a legit tackle anymore, and that's Diablo's bread and butter tackle. Many a times, look at Diablo's tape last year, or the 2 years that he played before that. He was grabbing guys behind the line of scrimmage and bringing them down with his weight and tackling them. But the running back would always get yards.
Okay.
And then that tackle was as that new tackle, the rule where that you can't tackle like that anymore. Diablo, that's Diablo's go-to tackle. Or it was last year. He doesn't initiate blocks from a pulling guard or tackle. He doesn't initiate that hit. You're supposed to take that guy on and then shut down the hole so the running back can bounce outside in your corners and your other linebackers to get him. But as far as being confident in what Diablo can do, they took away his tackling ability where he needs to go heads up with the guy. And his angles was kind of like more like a safety than it was a linebacker. Your linebacker, your first step is forward, And the safety, you roam in the backfield. His steps are lateral, backwards, like he's covering somebody. You're not. If it's on your side, it's on your strong side. You got to go up there and initiate, take on that tackle, and then get the running back at the line of scrimmage. That's his problem.
Okay.
But Masterson, I don't know what he does. I don't hear his name ever in games, but I don't know what he's doing to stay on. But I'm not very high on him. Masterson.
is a rotational guy. Like
He's starting.
no, he's not.
He's starting weak linebacker.
No, he's not.
He's on the roster.
Well, maybe as it stands now, but last 2 seasons he was nothing more than a rotational guy, and I believe as a rotational guy, he did good enough.
Who did you have there with him?
Are you talking about this year or last year?
Who? Okay, we have Diablo, Robert Spillane, and then weak side. We have middle linebacker. A Mike linebacker is Divine Diablo. Weak side linebacker is Robert Spillane. This might be the defense that they're in.
If you're talking about this upcoming season as the roster stands, then okay, maybe he might be that third linebacker being where the roster's at the moment. But predominantly we play 2 linebacker sets with Nate Hobbs being that hybrid money backer kind of guy. So he's not really seeing the field unless like he's a rotating in for Spillane or Diablo or one of those guys are hurt, because that's what happened last season. Like he was a rotational guy, and I believe he did good enough as a rotational guy. He got a few fumbles. He did okay when his number was called, but he wasn't a starter. So I mean, if you're looking at him as a starter, then maybe he's not good enough. But like as an undrafted free agent who's come on to be a reasonable, decent rotational guy, that for me is a win. I think there's
where do you see reasonable, decent from?
Well, he comes in, and at least I notice him doing some things. I notice him making some tackles. He's caused some fumbles. He's made some plays. He's done some things. You look at some of these other cats like Christopher Smith, like Matthew Butler, like Darian Butler, another UDFA that got so much hype coming out of preseason 2 years ago. What the frig have those guys done? Absolutely nada.
You're right there.
You get my point? Like I'm just saying this, giving some objectivity. If you look at it as Masterson as a rotational guy, which to me, like even though he's my guy, I've never said he's anything more than that up until now. Like I think he does that well enough. Like as a starter, maybe you're right. Like, but like we're not playing him as a starter. Like you need rotational guys on your roster. Not everyone can be a superstar. You know what I mean? And I think
there's something better when he is in. He's not as good as Divine Diablo. And I'm not as confident as in Divine Diablo.
Well, Diablo is to be a starter, so
he is a starter. He's starting on this list. I got on this list. They're not in the
right. All I'm saying is that if you're looking at Masterson as to be a good starter, you're right. He's not that, but I don't look at him as that. He's not. He's a rotational guy, and to me, he's done that at a good enough level. You know what I mean? Like as a UDFA, he's done some things. You look at those other cats I just mentioned. What have they done? Absolutely nada. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I ask from a rotational guy is when your number is called, whether it's special teams or whether you're just swapping in for a play or two, just do something once every while. You know what I'm saying?
The disrespect for Darian Butler. Come on, man.
Darian Butler, yeah, the next big thing. Who's done what?
Was it the next Bosworth? They said. I didn't even like.
The only time I have noticed him do anything is for the wrong reasons, and that was when. Do you remember that game against the Colts, 2022? Yeah. Remember, like on the Colts had the ball back. We were winning, right? And then they just crossed over the 30-yard line. They caught a ball, and I think it was Tyler Hall caused a fumble, right? The only guy on screen for a good 3 seconds to recover the ball was Darian Butler. He tries to pick up the ball. He's bumbling the ball. He wants to take it to the house. A player comes out of nowhere, bumps him out of the way, recovers the ball. You know what they did the very next play? And I mean literally the very next play. They scored the game-winning touchdown. Now, I get it. Every player makes their fuck-ups. But in 2 seasons, what has Darian Butler done? He hasn't got a single stat from last year. He was out injured.
We let guys be injured and keep them on the team for 3 years. So that's the most legit. He's better than Amari Burney. What stats do you have of Amari Burney?
Exactly, Amari Burney. Well, what has he done? It's to my point, Gravy. That's all I'm trying to say. Is as a starter, he's not all this and all that. You're right.
That's
but
why
as that rotational
what you're
guy,
saying is that Luke Magnuson is all we have.
I think he's a decent enough rotational guy. I'm not asking him to be a starter.
Yeah.
You need rotational guys on your roster. Like, not everybody can be the starter and a superstar.
Well, we're starting and Luke Magnuson is not even his backup. Luke Magnuson is Spillane's backup.
Right. Well, you got Eichenberg, right?
Eichenberg is for Diablo. I don't think Eichenberg is as athletic as Diablo. So that might be a mix-up. But when they're in a 4-3 and they have 3 linebackers, Matcherson's the weak side starting linebacker. On these notes that I have, there's only 2 linebackers, and you were right about that. It's Divine Diablo and Spillane, and Luke Matcherson is a backup. I agree with you on that. Right. But when they go into that front, which I've seen a lot because we had to play a lot of zone because our corners weren't as good in the beginning of the season as they were at the end with Jack Jones stepping up and stuff. And our defensive line all of a sudden rushing the passer and making that secondary not do less work and just cover. So that was great. But that's the reason why I'm so uncertain about the linebackers is because exactly what you said.
Right. And I guess to a point, I may agree. Like, at least, you're talking about with Eichenberg. Like, how many years have I've said so many times when we come draft time, can we just draft a linebacker who produced at linebacker at the collegiate level, not some cat we're trying to transition from safety or cornerback or some hybrid type dude, just a linebacker who played linebacker. And at least Eichenberg was that. I mean, look at the last, since 2016, I believe we've only drafted 3 true linebackers. I'm not talking about the Tanner Muse, the Divine Diablo type players. I'm talking about a true linebacker. And that'd be
McLean.
Eichenberg. That would be, Rolando McLean was 2010. So I'm looking back at more recent history, like since 2016 or 2015. So that's like 9 draft classes. And that would be Ben Heaney, a guy who I think is Tommy Eichenberg's floor. Ben Heaney. We also had Azim Victor, a guy who didn't even make past preseason. Remember that cat from 2018? You probably don't even remember. Yeah,
I remember 2018
preseason, didn't do nothing. And then, Eichenberg, Tommy Eichenberg. For some reason, it just seems to be a position we just kind of forego during the draft process, even though for the most part, year in, year out, the linebacker core has been a weak point of the Raiders roster in general. Like since I've been a fan, since the days of Thomas Howard and Kirk Morrison, you know what I mean? Like, we've had some all right guys. Yeah, we drafted Khalil Mack, but he was predominantly more an end than a linebacker. You know what I mean? Sierra Moore is another guy I liked at linebacker, but it's just to my point. We drafted a linebacker, Tommy Eichenberg, who there's some of his tape I do like. I like that he was the MVP of the Rose Bowl. I think he had like 17 tackles. And he's not afraid to get, speed up to the point of attack and try and put on a hit. The knock on him that I've heard from a few people in my chat feed who watch a lot of Ohio State games, and why I said this is his floor comparison, is that he can't shed blots, from what I understand. Like when it comes to, if he gets engaged with blockers, it's a wrap. He can't shed them. So hopefully that's something he works on at the next level. That's why I said my floor comparison, because that was Ben Heaney's weakness and why he never amounted to nothing. Like, as soon as he was a quick guy, sideline to sideline speed, but as soon as he got engaged with the offensive line, it was a wrap. He ain't doing nada.
That's not good. That's not a good problem to have.
No, it's not.
That's the epitome of being a linebacker. Either way, if you're a coverage linebacker, or if you're a straight up head run stopper, or just a gap linebacker, you have to have that.
Right. But Tommy Eichenberg, there's things to like there, and he's got
time, bro. He has time.
Develop.
I'm not real worried about him, but we being from a coach that prides himself on being a linebacker and winning a Super Bowl as a small linebacker, and just had the grit and to do things like that, as far as taking on blocks and stuff like that. But he had one of the best defensive. AP had one of the best defensive fronts of football ever. So, not take that away from his personal Super Bowl win, but as I think we're gonna feel the problem with linebacker and our defense when we play certain teams.
On the flip side of that, we thought that last year, and it actually turned out to be better than what it was expected. So hopefully that can be the same case this year. But another guy I'm interested in, and I want to hear your take with Amari Burnett. Curious case of Amari Burnett. What say you about this guy?
The only positive things I hear from Amari Burney is from Gabe. So that just, you can take that where you leave it. If Gabe loved the kid, so I love the kid. So, and then when he's not playing, he's not in there a lot. He's just another guy that's going to develop into a linebacker, I guess. And I'm not very high on him. I think, like I said, I think our starters, our suspect, we have one legit good linebacker starting, and that's Spillane. And then Spillane did an amazing job. I thought Spillane overachieved, and he deserves all the recognition that he gets. Getting those people say this guy can't cover shit, and he gets 3 picks. That's great for a linebacker.
Exceeded my expectation.
Yeah, and then he was the face of that defense just about. Pictures of him all over the place with the tongue hanging out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He won some games for us. He sealed games for us. That's what a linebacker should be. Leader of your defense. And if Eichenberg can do that, he just needs to develop into that guy. But as long as we got Spillane, I think Spillane needs to get paid. Not like the best of them, because he's not, and I think he knows that. But just take care of the dude. Keep him a Raider. It'd be a positive thing to be on that defense, because I think he's the green dot, man. So
yeah, he
calls it, and then he's got to let people know if it is Max, if it is Wilkins. You got to get in their face and say, "Hey, man, what's up with you today? You ready to play some football? Let's go." That's the AP type shit. That's the AP type stuff that he's seen. That's why we got him. Now, do we have that guy in Diablo? If he's on the field, we know that 3 or 4 games after, he has an amazing day, he ends up in the tent somewhere with a hurt something. He still plays with it, but he's limited.
Well, Diablo played. He only missed 2 games last season. So, there were questions about his durability before that, but like when people talk about him, he's always missing games. Like, he didn't miss that much game time last year.
It wasn't missing games, and I looked at this because Lowe hit me up on it, and I said he would get injured during a game, and then he would play the whole game. It would be a stat that he was in the game.
I get you.
He would get in between that time. He would get injured. Come back the next week, with a big old club on his hand, and play.
I get you.
I enjoy. I love the want to and wanting to be in there and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I just
at least he's trying to get in the game.
Yeah. But that time when he's not in there is usually Luke Masterson, and then that's when nothing happens. And then that's when I was getting with the Luke Masterson type thing. Only if we're in that defense. Now, I expect them to have 2 linebackers this year, because our front's going to be great. I think we're going to have one of the best fronts in the game. And then if we do, then it's going to be trouble. It's going to be a whole lot of trouble. And then, I'm talking about for the other teams that we play. So we have that front, and they don't stop. Even with Jenkins and Adam, but Adam was his name, Butler that we were talking about, not
Right.
Matthew Butler, but the other one. And if he
Right.
gets busy, them two are the thing. Are going to make that defense work.
But just some positivity with, like, I agree with Spillane being the only bona fide guy there, but at least with Diablo and Masterson, like those two guys, and I've talked about this a few times, like your first 2 years you get concessions as long as you're showing progression. You know what I mean? And Masterson's only had 2 years in the league as an undrafted free agent. He wasn't supposed to make the roster. He's gotten better. Has he lit the league on fire? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying he has, but at least he's gotten better. Diablo is in that same category. He, in my opinion, he did enough to have a third-year leap, not as much as, say, Malcolm Kuntz and Nate Hobbs and Trayvon Morrig. All those four guys all had third-year leaps, which is fantastic. That's what you want. You know what I mean? I'm not giving no more concessions after 2 years. You know what I mean? 2 years, that's it. Third year, you got to produce. You either belong on the team or you got to get up out of here. Like that's enough. You know what I mean?
That's the way I feel.
Right. And Diablo's at least done that. He's gotten better every year that he's been with us. Is he a game changer yet? No, he's not. But like, at least he's trending up.
Leading your team in tackles is a big accomplishment there. You know what I mean? It's good, but they took away from Diablo. They took what he's good at away, and what he was good at was tackling a certain way. Now that's a penalty in football now, with the way he tackles people, the way he brings them down. It'll always be from the back. He doesn't go heads up.
Oh, what's that new rule now? You can't hip tackle?
You can't hip tackle.
Like that. That's ridiculous. You can't
grab him by the hip and drag him behind him.
I do not understand that one bit.
And if you look at tape, well, you can jack your knee up, jack your ankle. Your ankle can get caught underneath your body and his body, and break your foot, break your ankle, tibia, fibula, all that. Just it'll make your hip mess up. It's just being safer. So if you look at tape of Diablo and the way he tackles, just Raider games, last year, you see that Diablo has mastered basically that type tackle. That's why when me and Gabe brought that to the attention of people, and people use it. It's for everybody, that they're taking that away from Diablo. So is that 100 tackles that Diablo get, is he going to be cut in half? Or how many flags are we going to get? Is he going to be a flag machine because it's something that he's done his whole life? Or at least 10 years. It's hard for these guys not to pull you by the neck and pull you down. It's hard for players not to tackle like that. But if you do that again, it's a penalty. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. So what if we put ourselves in those type of situations to where Diablo's a good player, he's solid, but he's the new Illuminor getting penalties all the time. We're going to be upset. We're going to say, get rid of the guy, even no matter how good of a player he is. Or are we going to do what typical Raider Nation fans do and say, he just needs to learn how to tackle better? You know what I mean? He just needs to learn how to do this. He needs to learn that. Well, I can already tell you, he needs to go heads up with that running back. You don't need to grab him from behind because he's gaining yards. If you're behind in the tackle, he's gaining yards on you. And it can constantly, me and Lowe, I used to go to Lowe's house and watch games, bro. And I used to say, look at Diablo tackle, bro. The running back be dragging his ass. And then finally he'll go down. He'll get credit for the tackle. He had 120-something tackles. But this year, it's going to be a flag, the way he tackles.
Right.
So is that 100-something flags he's going to get? Or, what's going to happen here?
He's going to get 100.
Yeah, that's great. You get 100 tackles. If your linebackers get 100 tackles, he's moving. He's doing good. He had to get more tackles than Spillane.
Oh, you said 100 flags.
Yeah, that's what I said. What's next? Are we going to get 100 flags? You don't want to change the way you tackle somebody. I'm sure he knows different. His angles, the way he does his angles, is a safety way. I brought this to the attention of Lowe. Is that when you play safety, your angles are different because they're bigger. You got more room, right? So that the field's open. And then when you're a linebacker, you're looking at specific areas where you're looking at a guy pull. If there's a guard pulling through the 6 hole, you initiate that hit from that guard that's pulling, and then you slow the running back down, then your pursuit gets him. And then he's behind the line of scrimmage. Or you shed that block. You shed that block and you go heads up with that running back instead of grabbing him from behind after he got 5 yards. You don't teach that. You know what I mean? If you're getting tackled from behind, you're doing a good job, as far as I'm concerned, as a running back coach.
Right.
You're beating that linebacker. And that's what it is. That's what it is. It's a linebacker against the running back. That's who he covers. That's who he looks at. And he watches his footwork. When you look at linebackers do drills, Alvacasi, and it's wonderful to look at. The linebackers should do every step. The running backs get taught like a jagger step. Like you do something like we're doing a counter play. A counter play looks like you're going one way and then you go another. That's a misdirection play. So the linebacker usually should mimic what that running back is doing and get up the hole and tackle. Right. Diablo has a problem doing it. Big problem.
I know the counter play from my Madden days.
Yeah. The counter is a misdirection play. You go one way, it looks like you're going one way, and everything goes the other. So that's mean that you're not quite there, or you don't want to. Once a coach finds out that you don't want to take blocks head on, you might as well just start this Luby kid. Or right. You might as well just still put, Amari Burney in. And things like that. But,
well, Murray Burney is a guy I've earmarked that I want to see. I'm going to be paying attention to him in preseason.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be fighting it out for that final linebacker spot with these other UDFA cats that we brought into the door. Amari Gaynor and whoever else it might be. You know what I mean? But I want to see something from Burney to show that he at least belongs as a developmental guy in our roster.
Well, that'd be great because I don't know. If a guy is that far back in the total pole as far as playing concerned, he ain't never.
When did we draft him? Was it 6th round or 7th round? 5th round? Was it 6th?
Yeah, we drafted him. I think it was the 6th, 7th round the year before last.
Right.
And Gabe was all
tight end killer. Yeah. Remember the hype he got?
Gabe was all hyped up, man. I was with Gabe. All right, Amari Burney, man. That's what you wanted. You got your linebacker. Right. Never seen him.
I think he came on for bits and pieces in one of those New York games last year. That was the only time I noticed him on the field, and he was actually doing all right. Yeah. But he's someone I've definitely earmarked. Like I want to see you produce in preseason.
I want to see
show that you belong
and look matches and make plays and be confident in our starting linebacker core. You back up, fine. I ain't gonna say, well, our backups are the best in the NFL. So fuck that, man. I don't want to be saying that stuff. I want to say our backup is the best backup in the NFL linebacker, Amari Burney. Tell me why he's not starting. You put the best out there. I'm just tired of what I say. AR is I'm just tired of losing, man. 20 years of this, bro. I've been doing, and even longer because I'm older than you, but I've seen it. I'm bad. I remember the good days. I want to feel that way again.
Well, at least you've had some good days. I mean, you were around those early 2000s. You were around like those, that mid 90s period where making some playoff appearances. I've been going back watching some Raider football from that era. Like that's a very underrated, unheralded team that I've come to appreciate. But. Yeah, I mean, at least you've seen some consistent levels of some form of success, whether it's like, some playoff runs, like, we haven't won any Super Bowls, but at least one year we got there and you've been around for like the years where we've made like consecutive playoff appearances, whereas the extent of my success has been 2 playoff games since 2009. And they were quite substantial distances between each other. So it's not.
And as passionate as me and you are with our team, I think I deserve a right to be to criticize some of the moves that we make. You know what I mean? Because I've seen good shit and I've seen bad shit. But I also
we've been in the trenches, so we've earn that right. Yeah, I get you.
And I
'Cause
understand.
we're not just guys who have just come on and like, you know, while they the few times that they were winning, and then like, you know, we just jump off the train just like that, like first chance we get. No, we're still here. Like I'm still here 9 years, you know, 15 years later, 2 playoff appearances, and that's it. And I'm still as passionate as I've always been since day dot. Ain't nothing changed.
Yeah. So is your dog, man. Your dog's passionate about the Raiders.
Yeah, she's asked me to take her out. I better get going, but Gravy,
right.
Thank you, my friend.
Always,
it's been good.
bro.
Everyone in the
Always,
chat. I know
keep
it's
talking
late.
ball with you, man. Good talk.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Thanks for having me on, my brother. We'll have to do it again soon, okay?
No problem. Go rock the dog, bro. All right, bro.
Good evening, good night, and go Raiders. All right, peace.
All right, guys. You that's here. I got a couple more minutes. What y'all want to do? All lies, you ain't sleeping today, huh? Cool kill. You ain't sleeping today. Yeah, Avocado probably had never had no Asava, man. If he don't, a lot of people ain't had Asava, man. Asava is. I used to have an uncle, man, that took. Man, it would take me to cook carne asada 5 minutes each side. Like that. This guy would make so much asada, it'll take him like 5 hours to cook like 30 pounds of asada. And this was like Desmio type. Look at the meat cut, Desmio. I know they don't have it in New York, so you can't. But I know All Eyes, a couple of guys from Cali, they know what Desmio is. And that's a thicker cut of the asada. That's this bomb. Put some chili and stuff. Let's sit there forever. It just takes up. Get a little tortilla, that's all you need. Some hot sauce, that's all you need. A little bit of cheese on there probably be great. But Cool Kev, you gotta get it. You gotta quit going to the Caribbean and come to California and get out all that cold, windy weather you're in. And come out here when it's 100 something. You just know what the real heat is. But we ain't got it like you with all this dough going to Bahamas, Puerto Rico, and all this stuff. You almost sound like a plug, bro. Oh, my bad. He said, "Pa." Well, that's great, All Eyes. That's great. You still love with me, man. That's great. 125 in the morning. But anyways, guys, I wanted to thank you on both shows, Raider Nation Live show. Me and Gabe had a great time. I felt like talking a little bit more. I'm glad AR came on. I don't know what you guys really got on Rafa, but you know, Rafa, he tries, man, and that I'll give him that. You know, my opinions differ, vary, but you know, at least he's a Raider fan. He's been a Raider fan what, 2 years? I remember when that dude came up with his Carolina stuff backwards hat. And you can get on Rafa all you want, but Rafa always has a special place on my show for what he says, even though it's you can understand it or not. I'll get an interpreter for him. But I want to thank everybody for being in here. I want to thank everybody for being in my chat, for staying up with me. It's been a blessing. It always is. And let's go Raiders, man. For next time, Stogies with Gravy. We out, bro. You guys have a wonderful evening, wonderful morning, wherever you're at. Stay well.